We are live. So whatever we're not going to mention, we're not going to mention it. But what I'm saying is, if everyone just listened to me for a week and
listen to this man,
just saying, I've had like a 98% track record since 2011, but nobody listens to me because I don't know. I'm right all the time, and whenever everyone overreacts and I point out that everyone's overreacting and everyone's insisting to me that they're not overreacting, it turns out to be a non-issue a week later. So I'm saying, everyone just take just 1 week. Just pick a week. Everyone
also don't like that song.
Everything will be better.
No, that's not
it. Will be infinitely better.
I'm not overreacting.
So
Katie Kaboom.
Let me.
Katie, you're overreacting.
Tweet that link out. But to speak to your earlier point, K-Gods, I understand the concern. I don't think things are gonna change around this quickly, given the existing paradigm of Japan really not listening to any other nation.
Again, I'll just drop it for now.
Not saying I'm right all the time. I'm just saying I have a very good track record. Well, okay. I'm saying I'm right all the time.
Anyway.
We got that. Let's put this link up. Matter of fact, hit that button.
So you know what's getting an anime? Because I hold the monkey's paw.
Yeah, we might want to wait until we're actually starting the show.
Yeah, because we do
have
the news segment. We'll mention that.
Because I called it this time.
Actually, I thought you just. I actually don't think you called it. You just wanted it.
Yeah, but all three of us wanted something specific, and you got your thing, which means, okay, guys, now you're getting our thing next.
Hopefully.
Well, one I know what one is, but I don't know what the other is. But I won't.
We'll get to that. Again, yeah. There's a time and a place for that, and it's the news segment.
There's actually another thing I want, which I will mention.
Okay, wait till it's pertinent.
There is another thing I want, and
there's a lot of things I want, but
we're probably never gonna get it. The second thing I want,
G Savior 2.
No.
Why'd you have to remind me that exists?
Did you see that the Shars uniform?
Oh yeah, designed by those British friggin'
yeah. The royal family's tailor. The Queen's tailor. Right? They made
the Queen's still around.
Uniform. Yeah.
Dude, she's got to be like older than the Sphinx at this point.
She's like 92 or something.
It's hyperbole, sir.
I can't tell sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. What's the Notebook? I need the Notebook.
No, that movie was terrible.
Here's the Notebook.
Why?
Where's the pen?
Where you want your romantic comedy?
I'll use this pen.
No, I want my harem.
I have no idea what you're doing there, but
MILF harem.
All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Make a MILF harem. They have not done a MILF harem.
Let's start the show. In 3, 2. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Forrest Davis.
I'm K-Odds.
And I'm VZ Mark II.
Saturday edition.
Yeah. It's the Saturday post. No.
It's been one day fewer than a while.
This is the post 420 episode. I probably shouldn't be laughing after I say that. That doesn't make it sound any better.
No, it doesn't sound very convincing that you're not high.
Yeah, I just thought that.
Guys, I checked Twitter, and yep, I did see my Yui edit that I originally made.
Oh yeah, the one smoking the blunt. Yeah.
I was the originator of that.
I always irritate.
People love that for some.
I used to irritate people like that because I'd go to school and then people were like, you know what day it is, and I'd go, oh yeah, it's Hitler's birthday, and it just took the wind right out of their sails. It's always funny.
So the new season is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've been. I know you've been watching a bunch of stuff.
Really? Okay, this is gonna be interesting because I have to know what's got Anubis. Because this is the lightest season ever for me.
I have no idea how that is your assessment of this season.
I did pick up something else.
I don't know how you arrive at that conclusion, VZ, because this season is fantastic. Let's see. What am I watching so far?
Okay, this is gonna be good.
Gundam Build Divers. Gundam Build Divers is great.
Yeah, that I'm watching.
Hisone Tomaso-tan, the Dragon F-15 anime. That one's great.
Oh, I didn't even know that was there.
Let's see. What's next? Gun-Gale Online. That's great. Uma Musume Horse Girls. That's great. What?
Gun-Gale. Is that the Sword Art Online thing?
Yeah, Gun-Gale Online, the Sword Art Online alternative. Yeah, that's great. Horse Girls is great. Wotakoi is great.
Horse Girls. That just sounds like some really dubious fucking doujin.
I didn't care for Wotakoi.
I fucking love Wotakoi. I am 100% down on Wotakoi. Everything's great. Everything I've watched has been incredibly impressive.
I did pick up Cutie Honey Universe.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that. Some of the stylistic choices in there are I still haven't decided if I like them or not yet.
Well, I did download because of that. I did download I haven't watched it, but I'll get to it. The 90s OVA version of Cutie Honey.
Oh, now that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and it's a Blu-ray rip, so it'll look nice.
Yeah, it's very fun. That must be a. Yeah, you said it was a Blu-ray rip, so it must have been purely from Japan because we haven't gotten one of those yet.
Anyone pick up Comic Girls?
I still need to check that one out.
It's okay.
I have something to say about Comic Girls, and I'm making the same smirk that Anubis usually does right now. That brought forth something interesting. I believe it was ANN who said that show was basically enjoyed by pedophiles.
Well, okay, it wasn't ANN. It was very specifically Jacob Chapman. And
well, see, I wasn't going to call out names. I was going to just
fuck this person. No, okay, and I was gonna do this in the news.
Oh, my bad.
Maybe we should cover it right now.
To be honest, that's not really news.
It's not really news, but it's some shit that happened.
Just say.
All right, so, and what's hilarious is both of these occurrences happened in the same day. So Jacob Chapman's going on about Comic Girls, talking about the boy fatigue. Which is a made-up word.
Wait. By the way, is that related to metal fatigue, like that plane just happened recently?
Yeah.
Or battle fatigue.
This is So this is made-up words, and talking about that, and talking about how
it's code word.
A lot of 4chan types really like it in a really terrible way.
And somebody asked, "Well, what do you mean by that?"
and basically just spelled out pedophiles.
Yeah, but like not just spelling it out, but with spaces between the letters in a very like they're saying some sort of like Wheel of Fortune, I need an E, kind of thing, or something like that.
So Jacob Chapman thinks you're a pedophile if you like comic girls a lot. And unrelated, but you'll see how this is related in a bit. The whole thing went down with Channel Awesome, and without getting into the weeds about that,
that's what I was going to talk about earlier, but I didn't think to bring it up. But
yeah, we're not going to get into the weeds about that, apart from how it relates to this particular instance. So, there was an individual involved with Channel Awesome that had pretty serious allegations of grooming and sexual abuse of underage women. And it was found that Chapman very likely knew that this was going on and decided not to tell the authorities. And when pressed about this, he went on to say that taking that information and sharing it with the authorities would have put the victims in danger in a post-GG world.
Despite the fact that this involves time travel.
Not only does this involve time travel, because all of these occurrences occurred prior to GG, but this could not have occurred during GG because the person alleged to have done these things killed themselves,
was dead
in the beginning of 2014. So that's a pretty odd thing to cite, but the reason that these two occurrences are related, calling people like comic girls a lot pedophiles and talking about and shielding a potential sexual abuser of underage people, is because these happened on the same day these tweets occurred in the same day within 1 hour of each other.
I mean, it's almost comical. And Anubis had like the funny foresight to basically go, I'll take these two pictures, put them right next together, side by side, and point this out, and shit occurred.
It's like,
you got quite a bit of I don't want to say flack or anything. I didn't see much of that.
There wasn't flack. It was people retweeting it, people liking it, because it shows that, maybe the people who go on and on about how certain anime fans are pedophiles don't actually care about children.
Oh no. Fuck no. Come on. If they're conservatives, they probably want them to die.
Maybe.
I mean, did you hear
they care more about
Did you hear about
stupid and self-aggrandizing stupid anime bullshit than protecting real life victims of child abuse and making sure that their abusers are brought to justice? Maybe just maybe they care. Maybe just maybe they care more about themselves than other people. Maybe just maybe they're more ego driven than driven by an actual sense of humanity, an actual sense of justice.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, just recently, it has nothing to do with anime or anything, but some person at college, their teacher, basically, maybe they were wearing one of those fucking dumb, Make America Great Again hats or whatever.
You could just say MAGA hats. I know what you mean.
Yeah, well, some people might not, So, anyway, basically, the professor basically said, fuck your life and all this other stuff like that. It's like, wow. I mean, I'm not one of those people. I don't wear the hat, nor am I even a conservative, but that behavior is just ridiculous. And
you're a right-wing Bowie fan.
Oh yeah, that's well, that might be true if you're from Pole. I don't know, but in any in any case, okay, dude, go ahead.
No, because I was going to talk about the rest of Comic Girls.
Oh. Anyway, I didn't completely catch up, but we'll bring this back up. I don't want to talk about it right now. It's good for the news segment, but I did catch up on most of Darling in the Franxx, which this is going to tie. This is foreshadowing for something later too. I'm not going to get into the details about that. Everybody who's listening probably knows what I'm about to talk about, but we're going to move that forward to a news segment. But let's just say it's an interesting show. I mean,
I feel like I'm going to get low-level mad 3 times in this segment alone.
Okay.
Low-level mad?
Low-level mad.
Anyway, back to Comic Girls.
Yeah.
It's a decent show. All right. It's a decent show. Characters are... It's very average. But what, as far as the characters and the Moe stuff and even the fantasy, here's what I do like about it, at least. Or at least it's probably something that appeals to me personally. Whenever they're actually doing art stuff, like when they're in the art store, when they're talking about drawing and such, that stuff appeals to me very much. I like in the third episode, she was trying to, the main girl was trying to show her editor, like, this crepe comic. And she's like, it's not very good. It's very, like, bland, and it's like, every panel looks the same. Like, yeah. So then she comes back, like, at the end of the episode with, like, and then makes, like, an anthropomorphic crepe with it, and then it's like, it's still not good. It's a little bit better, but still needs improvement. I just thought that was funny. The other thing I'm watching is Alice or Alice, which is the short of the season. That's all right.
I'm just gonna go on record, and I hate the name of that.
Alice or Alice?
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Oh.
No real reason that ties into the show. I just don't like it.
But something
it's just aesthetically not pleasing to me.
Something I watched that I really liked that just came out the Blu-ray rip for the new Girls and Panzer finale movie. The first one.
Wait.
Honestly,
the finale movie, the first one.
Because they're doing a bunch. Yeah. It's basically like an hour.
Stop naming things like that.
That's like when they came out with 2 Worlds, and then they came out with 2 Worlds 2.
It's basically it's almost like a long episode. They even brought back oh shit, what's the name of the song at the end? Man, you know the ending song of Girls and Panzer?
Yeah, I don't know the name of it, but I know the ending animation in the song.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they brought that back. I really like this. I like the new characters. There's basically like this part of the ship that they're on, and that's like sort of like closed off. That's like, and it has these like delinquent girls, and they team up with them to do tank stuff.
Tank stuff.
Enter mission. That's it.
Okay.
You said delinquent girls. I'm just getting these really weird, like Breakfast Club kind of vibes where like they're running, instead of like running through the halls of the school, they're like running off with tanks they're not supposed to have, zooming around the yeah. But to go back to so I didn't watch a whole lot. I did catch up mostly on Darling in the Franxx. I watched a little of Cutie Honey Universe. I watched The Guyver, which we'll be talking about a little later.
Yeah.
I've got a lot to say about it.
Good. I got a lot to say, but I want to hear your opinion too.
Yeah. So we'll get back to that one.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, also foreshadowing. Don't you just love how things come back? Like that rash.
Well, don't you just love how we foreshadow by saying exactly what we're going to talk about?
Yeah. Well, we're hinting, because sometimes we're not exactly saying specifically what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Sometimes we're actually foreshadowing.
Yeah, like the Darling in the Franxx thing. Anybody who's been paying attention in the last week knows what I'm about to talk about.
Mad 3 times in the first segment. It's got to be a
I kind of know what.
That's going to be the episode title.
Since I'm not watching it, I would like to.
Getting mad 3 times in the first segment.
Okay.
Beyond that, just played some video games. Was playing some rounds of Double Dragon, the original one, the NES port, which it's actually a lot of fun. It's kind of short, it's only 4 missions or whatever, and it's a beat 'em up, so that's not very long. But it's annoying in the sense that you have 3 lives. There's no extra lives, so yeah. There's no continues. There's only 4 levels. Come on.
Nintendo hard.
Yeah, basically. The controls can be kind of stiff. There's platforming. This is a bad call in any beat 'em up, by the way. For those who've never played it.
I didn't play that one. I played the Streets of Rage games.
Yeah, well, those came a lot better, or not a lot better, a lot later, but they were better in the way they were kind of, they operated, let's just say that. Because they didn't have things where you're jumping around on fucking conveyor belts, which have no place in that kind of situation. Because the jump mechanics are kind of wonky anyway.
I do remember the terrible 90s movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck that thing. That was a... Yeah. Stop making video game movies, please, for everybody's sake. I don't think I can name 5 good ones since they've started doing them. They're almost always fucking terrible because they miss the point most of the time. And when they don't miss the point, it's not something you can execute. Hang on. It's not something you can execute in the same manner. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's 2... Okay, VZ. Go ahead.
No, I said the Street Fighter one. It's so bad. It's so good.
No, I just think it's bad.
For you, it was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Of course.
Anyway. Going back to bad video game movies for a minute. Just, I don't know. I think the very nature of the way some of them play, how very dependent they are on the interaction element, they just don't work.
Because the fight,
dude, come on.
I'm sorry. Plot, I meant. Okay.
Okay. You know what? I'm sorry.
All right, you go on. I'll shut up.
I can't even remember what I was gonna say, dude.
I was gonna say it's because of the plot of the original source material is so light.
It's not even that all the time. It's that it's so dependent upon you being a self-insert
that's the whole thing. Is like, out of all these fucking fighting games that got movies made out of them, how many of them have a story? Like actually have a story?
Actually, most of them do, but they're
okay. Yeah, all right. Let me tell you the story of fucking Virtua Fighter. Ready? There's this huge martial arts tournament, and everyone has their own reason for being there, and there are people fighting. Copy paste into Dead or Alive, copy paste into Street Fighter, copy paste into Tekken, copy paste into whatever you want until we get into like Guilty Gear and all this weird shit.
To be fair, Double Dragon isn't really a fighting game; it's more of a beat 'em up.
Okay,
yeah,
the storyline to Double, I guarantee you that there's not really much in there, which is it's supposed to be that way because the whole point of the whole point of the game is like that's like when they made the Super Mario Brothers movie, and
don't remind me.
Of course, that was terrible because the whole story of Super Mario Brothers is you're at the left, go right.
Yeah, I mean that was bad on a different level though. Holy shit.
That's another so bad, but it's entertaining in a batch.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you significantly. That wasn't even
entertaining.
Bad in an entertaining way.
No, it wasn't. It was one of those things like it's not unless you think something like being on the rack is entertaining. I mean, son of a bitch. It's like everything about this movie made me want to just like find the people who made it, like specifically the people who made it, and send them a copy of the game.
Bob, what was his name? Bob Hoskins.
Who?
The guy that played Mario. That died.
The guy that played Mario.
I'm supposed to remember that shit from a terrible movie.
All 50 million of them.
He was drunk while they were like making it.
Oh, gee. Funny, most people I know were drunk watching it. Because like halfway through they thought this isn't going to get any better, is it? Yeah.
Bob Hoskins apparently is the name.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
it.
I don't pay attention.
Ray Forrester and IRC.
I will point out that I do not pay attention to the names of actors and shit unless they're ones that I already know, you know.
I'm actually the same way.
I don't really care most of the time. I mean, yeah, obviously I'm gonna know who like Denzel Washington or somebody is, you know. But you know, this is a problem I have with some of my relatives because they have paid.
Morgan Freeman, video game adaptation movie.
well, no. What I'm saying is,
there's people like highly well-known people like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or like Jennifer Aniston or some shit like that.
See, you know
who these
Jennifer Aniston is.
Wait, you don't?
I really do not.
Wow, she's from Friends.
That's why I remember like 18 seconds of Friends total.
And that's probably the song.
Yeah, most of it is the song.
I hate being right about things sometimes. Anyway, but no, I've got relatives that are like that. You know, they pay attention to that whole celebrity culture shit. They can tell you like when these people last took a shit, you know, and it's just like, it's like, you know, see, this is.
Well, here's my thing. I wouldn't say I pay attention to it, but I pay attention to some people who pay attention to like goings on, and this is mostly like in the rap game and all that. So I pay attention to people who pay attention to those people just because it's entertaining and these are talented people talking about it, but just because it's entertaining to hear them talk about stuff going on in hip hop and whatnot.
It's lemonade.
Iced tea.
That's a great commercial. I'm not really a fan of commercials, but some of them are amusing, and that's one of them.
I haven't really seen a commercial in a while because I don't watch TV.
Well, it's called being in an airport.
That was hilarious. Last time I was in an airport, or
doctor's office.
This was if I'm in a doctor's office, I either have a book or my phone, or I pick up one of the shit I have on the thing, and they got fucking they have something there that's marginally interesting enough to be more interesting than whatever's on TV.
I don't know. My doctor's offices always have like something medical, like they have like their own like channel basically.
That can't be as bad as Waffle House having their own songs in the fucking jukebox. I'm not kidding about that.
Are they all waffle related?
Well, of course they are. They're Waffle House songs.
like toast related.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was there one time. I was there one time because I think their waffles are actually good. And they're not very far. But like I went to the jukebox just because I get morbidly curious. Boy, that was a bad time to be morbidly curious. Like I see all these like lists of Waffle House songs, and I'm just laughing, thinking, "What the fuck is this real?" You know, and
I got to look later.
No. I actually, I can't believe I did this. I put the 50 cents in or whatever it is, and I selected a few just because I was laughing, thinking, okay, this has got to be a joke. It's not. Like,
don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Like I'm sitting there, the jangling guitar comes in, and it's talking about, and like this woman's singing over it, and I'm like, they're talking about it, and it's just one of those things where it's almost like an out of body experience or something. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, who thought this was a good idea?
The last time I interacted with a jukebox was like 2015, I think.
Well, Well, okay.
It's 2015, and it would like after a whole bunch of us that were in like the anime club and whatnot had graduated, and we were in there in the fucking on the roof of the bar eating and having drinks, and I went over to the jukebox specifically to see if they had any Prince songs, and I found some, and I played them. And that was my last interaction with the jukebox in 2015. I've seen them since, but I don't fucking.
The ones now are a lot more advanced, you know.
Well, yeah, they have like touch screens and shit.
Yeah, exactly. This one didn't. This was the one where you actually put like the code number. You know,
did it have like a thing where it's like in glass there's a book and you manipulate it like slides?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw a jukebox like that a few weeks ago, and it was in one of those restaurants that's like a regular modern restaurant, but it's made to look like an old timey restaurant.
Oh, like a vintage kind of
like a vintage burger joint.
Yeah, it's like the Back to the Future, like, you know, he goes back to the thing and gets the Pepsi and everything, you know.
Exactly.
It's like, I want a Pepsi free. No, you're gonna pay for it. It's like
so it had the friggin' slides back and forth.
Right.
I didn't put any quarters in it because why would I do that? But
we did this. Speaking of jukeboxes, me and some friends did a prank with one time when we were on. I
don't understand how people living in the modern age have two jukebox stories.
Well, here we are. Actually, to be fair, this was years ago. This was not recent. Me and a bunch of friends were laughing, you know, and this was around when that Obnoxious Friday song came out.
I have never heard that song all the way through in my life. That's my crowning achievement.
Well, me and my buddies each put like, you know, a set of quarters in, and we played it like 10 times and left.
Jesus Christ. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hope you like the song, and then we leave. That was pretty rotten, actually. That's what happens with bad days for me, you know.
That's
actually that wasn't
a thing to do it to people.
Yeah, that was pretty mean. Even for me.
Like, song. I have no idea what you're talking about. So
keep it that way.
Keep it that way. Yeah, keep it that way. Trust me, you do not want to hear this song. It's annoying as shit.
Do we want to talk about this?
I probably know it. I just couldn't.
Do you want to do it now or later?
Let's do it now.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, Darling in the Franxx episode 14 came out, and I'm not going to spoil it, but some shit went down in that episode, and a lot of people got really mad because a lot of people are real big up on 02, and that's reasonable. But
okay, following you so far. Yeah.
Some shit went down between 02 and Homeboy and Ichigo, which is the other, like the hypotenuse of this love triangle. And people weren't happy about it. And people were so unhappy about it that they took to sending death threats to the creators of the show.
And the Seiyu.
And took to sending death threats to the Seiyu. And took to harassment online of artists drawing Ichigo.
Was this like a love triangle thing?
Yeah, it's a love triangle going on between these three characters, and quite honestly, I don't know what happened because I haven't spoiled myself. I've chosen not to spoil myself on it because I intend to watch this show. But something went down, and people are upset, and they're so unreasonably upset. They're sending death threats to people over a cartoon.
Now, sometimes we hear about otaku doing weird shit like that, like over in Japan.
But this is usually equally unreasonable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Seiyu gets married or is revealed
dating
to have had sex once.
Dating or used to do porn or something. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, this time they didn't really, I don't think, identify exactly who these people were, but sources are kind of hinting that it's like Tumblr shippers, which would make sense because a lot of them do stupid shit like that.
Yeah, you might remember quite a few episodes of NTR Radio ago when we were talking about the I had mentioned that the one shipper fanatic who put a needle in a cookie and handed it to an artist at this convention. Like,
yes, I do remember that.
Kind of people.
Yeah, it's like one of those things, like you hear shit like that about, oh, on Halloween people did that to, or whatever, like razors and candy or some bullshit, which from what I understand is actually just an urban myth.
It was highly overblown. It only happened like once, and from what I understand, it was
the family members that
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So it's so in any case though, this actually did happen. Both of these things. The evidence is there if you want to go look it up. And did you know that's the first that Syracuse, that's their first role?
Oh, what a wonderful introduction to this industry.
And not only that, but foreigners.
Getting a bunch of
obnoxious
secondaries out here to sending you a bunch of death threats for something you really had no say in. And what also gets me is like they're demanding that episode 14 be rewritten.
Yeah, because that's ever happened before, because somebody was mad about the way it went. Holy shit. Like, how entitled are these little fuckers? I have to mentally believe they're like teenagers or something, or else I won't be able to sleep.
I feel like what really enables this is this this dumb anti-Twitter culture.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
It's the same culture that permits the, like mentioned last episode, harassment around Digibro and whatnot. Because he likes the wrong kind of cartoons.
Although in that case, I don't think it's really. I think that's partially coming from a different area, but
it's coming from a different area. But the fact that it's tolerated at all enables it.
Oh yeah, I mean, no question about that.
Because when you reach a certain point, it's like you reach a certain point with it, and all bets are off. Because what it comes down to is, I'm upset. Someone did something that I think is wrong, and they need to be punished for it. And because they can't, and likely wouldn't if they got the chance, because they can't physically harm these people, they're lashing out on Twitter.com because that's the only thing they can do, because they're mad about this cartoon.
So, well, there you have it. Yeah, so that's.
Way, I never want to hear again about how, like, the Moe fans, people who like Clannad and all this stuff, who aren't out here bothering people, invest too much in their cartoons. Never want to hear that shit again.
Oh, you mean
after this?
You mean from people that are
target your ire on some people who are actually out here being harmful, instead of just people who like cartoons you don't like. Maybe it's time to do that, but what the fuck do I know? I've just been on this for however many years now.
I don't see this thing getting better. In fact, I see these people doing this stupid shit every season, probably from here on out. Especially,
I don't think they're going to do this every season. I don't think this is going to be a big thing every season.
Depends. I mean, maybe not like on Twitter or something, but I think in like their typical Tumblr fan circles, it probably will happen if it doesn't already.
Well, the thing Tumblr does is when
reblog,
when a fan artist draws a ship wrong, Tumblr people will harass that person to the point of suicide attempts.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, okay, I'll go on record. I don't care about stuff like Steven Universe or whatever, but holy shit, like the fans of that program, holy crap! I mean, some of the shit that goes on, like that's an example of that. Like some girl, if I recall correctly, was hospitalized because of a suicide attempt, because these people were getting mad that they didn't draw them fat or something.
Yep.
It's like it's
either didn't draw the character fat or didn't draw the character dark enough. I don't remember which.
Or maybe both.
Okay, it was the fat thing.
And it's just like, wow. I mean, everything about that is fucking lame, but
lame is a word for it. Disgusting, subhuman.
Yeah. But you see where I'm going with this. That Tumblr in particular, a lot of these kind of people gravitate there.
By the way, if you're out here sending death threats to other Tumblr people, or worse, if you're out here sending death threats to the people out here producing the anime that you pretend to like, I guarantee you don't have anything going on in your life. Like
no
going on.
No. Yeah, no way. Because nobody that has anything going on would go to such extremes about something that stupid.
And it's some stupid new age pseudo waifu bullshit.
New age waifu bullshit.
And I call it new age waifu bullshit because all of us who are on the waifu thing for years would never have done this shit.
Oh, I got waifu. We're going to talk about the reviews.
Listen, my favorite character in Madoka Magica is Mami Tomoe. Now imagine if I'd been one of these people and I'm watching Madoka Magica and I'm really digging on Mami, and we all know what happens early on in that series.
Right.
I think I'm gonna start sending harassment and death threats to the people making the freaking shaft people for doing my waifu wrong.
Don't lose your head over it.
That doesn't happen because people, and this is and maybe people might get mad at this. I don't know. I'm already mad. But this is what happens when so we have the people who have been in this culture for quite a while. And specifically I'm talking about like moe culture and waifu culture and all the related tendrils of that social movement and whatnot.
That's an interesting choice of words.
So yeah, all the stuff that branches out from that.
Tendrils.
So people like us have been in this culture for a while, and as a result, we understand it. We have a respect for it. We have a respect for the people creating the stuff that we like. We have a respect for the people who create the characters we enjoy. We have respect for the people who portray the characters we enjoy, and in voice acting and whatnot.
I always get that like feeling, especially when you buy like when you look at like art books or making of things. You really get appreciative of just like how much work goes into the stuff that you watch.
Exactly.
And that's why I do my best not to dismiss, even if it's something I don't like personally. Unless it's like a really shitty production, I really like don't even.
Yeah, but even if you think it's shitty, you probably wouldn't say it was made cynically.
Well, that's an entire different issue.
Well, no, but you understand what I mean, though.
I get you, but it's a different issue. What I'm saying is, guarantee you, not one of those people owns an art book.
Oh no! Oh
hell no! At all. I guarantee you, most of those people probably don't even have anime figures. And this isn't a value judgment on if you buy anime figures, you're a better anime fan. But what I'm talking about is now I'm forced to call it the old guard of moe culture and waifu culture in the West has a deep respect for the people who make the stuff and the people who portray the stuff, and just how much goes into creating all these characters we enjoy. The new age waifu culture.
They're in it just to make money.
Hey,
that's what they care about.
Hey, I got all these figures here, and they're selling. So it is making money, and it's creating a lot of characters that are really compelling to people.
So
we can have both. But my point is, the new age waifu culture they just go for it's just about the character, and it's not in some ways it's more personal, in some ways it's less personal. And to explain that, it's more possessive than appreciative. Like, we have a personal investment in characters we like, to the point where we'll go out and we'll be excited for the art book, and we'll be excited for the anime figure, and we'll be excited for like the seiyuu, and we'll be excited for the anime product. Like, I'll be excited for
character that you like singing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be excited for the voice actor for like Kai Shiden shows up in Anime Boston, because I like the character and I'm pumped about the character. But the new age waifu culture, I don't think they have an appreciation for that. I don't think they have that level of appreciation. And when it gets to a head, and you mix it with this brainless anti-Twitter culture that permits this hate mob mentality, that's when you get people sending death threats to people who make anime. It's not a good look on American anime culture, and it's not a good look on us over here buying the stuff. It's not a good look.
No. Well, to continue on, you mentioned something that kind of rung some bells for me. You mentioned they're more possessive, and this is 100% true. And here's a piece of proof of that. Like, if you hear somebody saying that Asuka, since you've got it in the background there, is your waifu, you're not going to go, no, she's mine, because that's fucking retarded.
Yeah. And realistically, I don't think these people are allowed to be. I don't think these people are going to do that either.
Oh, some of them do.
I guarantee you that like 8 of them total do. But
I used to see people do it all the time.
They're more like I make the joke that if we're talking about like VZ, I jokingly shit on you for liking Rei Ayanami. Really, I don't care. But I can appreciate if you explain to me what you appreciate about Rei Ayanami. I can get with it.
Her, I just like her more than Asuka.
I get you, but just as an example, Mari Makinami. If you explain to me what you appreciate about Mari Makinami, I can get with that because I understand that appeal.
Yes.
These people are the type of people who are gonna like start real fights. I feel like.
Oh, I got a better one. I got a better one for you. When I say I like Seshiro Gumi from Nisekoi.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah, no, and I think she's a bitch, but I can understand why you appreciate her. I can get it. I don't agree with it. I don't respect it, but I get it. No, but the real is I do respect it, and I don't feel like these people have the same respect for other people's waifus. I really don't.
Yeah. So in any case, I think we should probably kind of disengage and kind of kick on the air conditioner. And
I got one more thing to get mad at.
Okay.
One more thing. Ready for this?
Uh-oh.
Okay. VZ, you're pretty intimately familiar with Otaku no Video, right?
Yes.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Okay.
I forgot about this.
I'm going to read to you verbatim an excerpt from an article. This is an article about otaku in anime, and it goes through several different anime, but Otaku no Video is among the first that they talk about.
Right.
And we're going to start with, this is the full paragraph. And stop me when you hear something inaccurate. Just say stop. Here goes.
I'll be quiet here simply for the fact that I already know where this is going.
This otaku panic meant that there were no popular narratives about the otaku in the 1980s and early 1990s. The closest example we can see of a celebration of otaku in the cult favorites Daikon 3 and Daikon 4, made before the otaku murder incident, and Otaku no Video, a parody of the Daikon shorts that quickly escalates from depicting hobbyists.
Yeah.
Yep. We've reached the first inaccuracy.
From the same people.
They were. It's the only reason that the Daikon shorts are referenced at all in Otaku no Video is that they're made by the same people. That's number one. Number two, if you watched Otaku no Video at all, there's no way you could construe that as a parody of the Daikon shorts. But anyway, that's the first inaccuracy. I'll continue. Again, say stop as soon as you hear another inaccuracy. Otaku no Video, a parody of the Daikon shorts that quickly escalates from depicting hobbyists, all men notably, to becoming so okay, so let me see if you can guess where this article is from based on those two particular inaccuracies.
Wasn't it like not Vice, but
no, not Vice.
No, but that sounds like something stupid they would post too.
Anyfem?
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
You win. It's one of those my progressivism publication things. Yeah.
My progressivism.
So yeah, there were some pretty glaring inaccuracies about Otaku no Video, and I feel like if we're gonna talk about otaku and anime, we need to get that record straight, because Otaku no Video, if you're gonna talk about otaku and anime, don't be wrong about Otaku no Video. That's the otaku and anime show. So I hit up their comment section, the Anime Feminist comment section, and typed in, hey, I want to point a couple things out about Otaku no Video. The notion that the hobbyist group in the anime depicts is all male is inaccurate. I can remember at least 3 women involved in the protagonist circle, 2 of whom play prominent roles. Also, Otaku no Video isn't a parody of the Daikon animations. It's a parody of Studio Gainax's history. Otaku no Video makes references to the Daikon animations, but that's likely because some of the same people worked on both. Now, this is an easy question. This is a gimme. Was my comment approved or denied?
Probably denied.
Yeah.
Multi-kill.
Of course it was.
They fucking denied my comment.
And I'm surprised they have a comment section given these people.
Well, they didn't for a while, but then they decided, you know what? We're going to open up the comment section, but we're going to be real careful, and we're going to carefully curate the comments, because we don't want people coming in bad faith and just all this double talk.
So basically, we can never be wrong.
In reality, what we're seeing here is you're not allowed to correct their writers when they obviously don't know what they're talking about, and quite obviously haven't watched Otaku no Video.
Do you want to talk about the Gundam thing before?
We got a news segment we're going to be doing anyway, so.
Yeah. So do we want to do the news segment later or now? Because we can cover the Gundam thing quickly.
Let's do that now.
Yeah, let's set up the Gundam.
Not too long, because I want to take a break.
And then we got to get to the main subject.
Then we're getting into the meat.
Yes, there's more.
Let's news.
Let's news.
Working to restore power.
I like how every time you play that, for those who are only listening and not watching, he does a little bit of a dance. I will call it that.
We can call it a dance. I don't know what else we would call it. We can call it a dance. So there's like
one of the things.
What?
There's like a trillion Gundam stuff coming out.
Yeah, like holy shit! it was like a smorgasbord. It just like wham, wham. Oh, by the way, wham, wham, wham. You think I'm kidding, but
So there are no less than 3 Gundam works on the horizon now. The first one chronologically is going to be Mobile Suit Gundam Narrative or Gundam NT.
Yeah, NT.
Yeah,
which is basically more or less a direct continuation off of Unicorn.
It's a film, is what it looks like.
Yes.
It's in film form. It takes place like 1 year right after it. So it's really truly a sequel.
Yep. So that's UC 0097.
And yeah, a bunch of Unicorn mobile suits are in it.
Yeah, and a lot of what's interesting about them is that they're ones that were actually made prior to the events of Unicorn in a lot, really, because
and they're present in supplemental material, but you never see them in
You'll
Unicorn
see
proper.
You'll see. You get to see the Sinanju Stein, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And it's basically the there's that, and then
the precursor to both the Sinanju and the Unicorn.
Right, and then there's the Phoenix, which is this awesome looking gold version of the Unicorn and the black Unicorn. It's kind of like the part of a triumvirate, if you will.
Yeah.
And of course,
both present in supplemental material, but now we're going to see them animated
and action.
And then Gundam NT, which is like an unfinished new Gundam, basically.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and they've given out a bunch. There's basically a synopsis of what it's all about, and it's even got some character designs. Probably not all of them, obviously, but
it's shown already.
Yeah, and there's a preview which I've watched, and I'm pumped for it already. I bet it's going to be enjoyable because Unicorn was enjoyable.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Mech designs by Hajime Katoki.
Okay, I'm sold. Basically,
listen, you know, Hajime Katoki designed the blender, and I'll buy it.
I got this really bad visual of like the spirit of Billy Mays trying to sell you that. He's just like,
Mays here,
it's like, hi, Billy Mays here. Do you need a new blender?
It has all the little markings on it.
Yeah.
It's not.
Line breaks.
It's got a really intricate blocky design base. All these little tiny little warning labels you can't even read on it.
Like you hit the on button, it's got like the eyes that glow.
It has a psycho frame.
Somebody's soul gets sucked into the blender.
Blender new with the exam system.
Fucking, oh man. Okay, like nobody who knows about all this late model Gundam stuff is gonna know what the fuck we're talking about. But I think people who do will get a kick out of that. So that's one.
So that's one. Next is the one VZ's pumped for. So the three of us have.
The one I'm pumped for.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what he said.
The one VZ's pumped for. So the three of us each have a dream Gundam animation project. Mine is Sentinel.
Mine is Crossbone.
And VZ.
What was your Anubis?
Mine is Sentinel.
Sentinel. Okay. All right. Mine was Hathaway's Flash.
Yep.
And
they're making it.
Fall 2019 is
3 films.
For. 3 films.
Yeah, a trilogy.
One big movie like Shar's Counterattack, but fine, 3 movies because that's how everything is now.
Okay. Well, are you complaining about it being longer?
Wait a second.
No.
I was about to say, are you complaining that we're getting not just Hathaway's Flash, but more Hathaway's Flash?
No, they'll probably be like an hour long each.
Not if they're movies. I doubt it.
Yeah,
it depends on how you say it, but because the
Unicorn, each one was like a.
They're OVAs.
Unicorn's build as an OVA, but
okay, and like
Origin is billed as a movie.
An hour long.
What I'm saying is Origin is billed as a movie. They're like it's a movie series, so they might be an hour long. They might be an hour 30. We don't know.
Yeah,
all we know is there's gonna be 3 of them.
So that's all we know about it. The source material is out there, so if you want to prime up on it, well, the source material is out there.
The Unicorn OVA theaters too.
Yeah, but it's still okay, but it is still considered an OVA.
Theatrical OVA, I think, would be the term.
All right. Anyway, although the other thing on my monkey's paw that I would love to see, this one I doubt will ever get anything, but Gaia Gear.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna get just like the second thing on my list is Shards Deleted Affair. Guarantee you, we're gonna be a while before they're gonna have to. They're probably gonna go back to creating Xeon Remnant factions before we get into Shards Deleted Affair.
Remember when that game came out from 0082?
81.
Or it was 81.
Yeah, it was
82. Okay, yeah.
0082 was the one that we made the Mobile Suit Gundam 0082. Xeon tries something
again. Yeah, exactly. Which basically, yeah.
Because that's what you need to do when you're creating a Gundam in early UC.
Yeah.
All the mainline storyline stuff is established. You just need to. Here's what you do: you have a Xeon Remnant faction. You just make one up. You don't actually have to have them involved with anyone else. Just make a Xeon Remnant faction up.
There's plenty of open areas where you can shove them in there, which sounds perverted, but
you don't know about this faction of Xeon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Xeon Remnant faction hiding out is two factors. You need the Xeon Remnant faction, and you need a Gundam project, and
that they're not supposed to probably be doing.
A secret Gundam project that they delete all the data for afterward.
And a teenager just happens to stumble by.
Well, yeah, but that's Gundam in a nutshell.
Well, no,
the father and the mother has some attachment to the Gundam project.
You're talking about Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm talking about it stopped me when
F91. Guess what? That's how F91 starts.
But I'm saying early UC from Unicorn from
back.
When you're War to Unicorn, all of these apply to all of these interim OVAs. You got a Xeon Remnant faction, and you've got a Gundam that all the data gets deleted, or it gets destroyed and the data gets deleted. 0080, you had the technically not Xeon Remnants, but you had the Spec Ops team.
They were just a special ops.
Yeah, they were Spec Ops. You had the Cyclops team, and you had the Alex. 0083, you had both the Dalaus fleet and the SEMA fleet. And then you had GPO1, GPO2, GPO3, GPO4.
Which we should point out that the Dalaus fleet is not mentioned in the original one, even though it's technically there.
Yeah.
But that's just it. It's open enough to where you can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't sound insane.
Same thing happens in Thunderbolt. Same thing happens in
8th MS team. There's the secret of fucking, Southeast Asia Opsilus project.
Know what else I would like to see? Have you ever heard of? It's a manga.
I've heard of a manga.
Okay. It was a Gundam manga, something Gigantus, which was basically sort of what if counterattack on Gigantus or something. I'll find it.
Well, whatever. But get to the point.
Counterattack on Gigantus.
Basically, Judo from ZZ finds the Ideon. It's like a what if. I think that's
lols.
Okay, yeah, we'll probably get Shards Deleted Affair before we get that one.
But the point
is a better thing to bet your money on than counterattack on Gigantus.
But the point is these things are open enough and spaced out enough to where you can do that.
Well, the thing about UC Gundam is that it creates a world. Like, more than just tells a story, it creates a world.
Oh yeah, so it's like Star Wars in that regard, or Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek more like. You can have a bunch of things happen in that world, and as long as it stays reasonably consistent, you're all set.
Yeah, or self-contained for that matter too, because I mean, it can lead into things or be kind of like going on in the periphery of things, but Usually it doesn't actually directly involve, like directly launch into it entirely.
Oh, I found the full.
Like a perfect example is Stardust Memory, because it has the gigantic sort of task of bridging the original and Zeta, because it's like, well, a lot of shit went on between that. Because you got the Titans, which are just kind of there right from the get-go. And it's like, okay, well, how can we ostensibly put these people in power and it come across as, something that actually happened that way?
Yes, it come across in a way that it's believable that that's the thing that happened.
Right, and it did a good job in that. Now, you can argue about how some of these little side stories or in-betweeners or whatnot sometimes fuck with continuity a little bit, and they do, if you really want to get crazy about it.
Well, yeah,
but nobody cares.
Yeah, that's the thing. Past a certain point, like,
it's like, oh, this machine shouldn't have been there. It's like, we don't care.
Who really cares? Like,
that's being nitpicky to me.
If you take all of the animated Gundam stuff as canon, which I understand it, that's if it's animated, it's canon.
Yeah,
you're gonna end up with a whole bunch of contradictions, or like the technology level that you see in stuff like Thunderbolt. Like, they're not supposed to have that kind of stuff until Zeta, or like apparently the
overpowered shit and like the dendrobium and things like that.
Well, yeah, exactly. Or if you look at the
Noisiel, yeah.
You look at the Act guys in.
But the thing is, the reason I can buy those
part of Thunderbolt, they're smaller than the Act guys in regular Gundam.
But the thing is, the reason I can buy something like the Noisiel is because there's one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
It was one thing made for a very specific badass.
That's how these OVAs get away with it. Like
to me, that's how I justify it.
You can't that's why all the data for all these secret Gundam projects gets deleted like mysteriously every time, because we can't have the data for like the GPO2 floating around, because that's you could consider that better than the Gundam Mark II. How are we gonna have that?
And Anaheim will sell it to Zeon.
Sure.
All right.
You know they will.
All right, guys, I found the name of the manga I was talking about.
Okay.
Mobile Suit Gundam versus Giant God, Counterattack of Gigantus. It wasn't. I was wrong. It wasn't.
That almost sounds like a fucking light novel, or a visual novel rather.
And the pilot was Mineve Zabi.
Oh, the Zabi Air.
So yeah, Neo Zeon had the Ideon in this.
Which by the way, just as an aside, she looks good in a Zeon uniform.
Yeah,
I'll just say that right now.
It suits her. She was born to wear it.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah, literally.
We should take a break.
Yeah, we probably should.
We should take a break. Keep it right here on NTR Radio. We're going to get into the break, and then we're going to hit up the main segment. Keep it right here.
Okay.
Hit that button.
Thank you.
Hit that button. Thank you.
All right.
There we go. And then that
no, it's a good time to be a Gundam fan. I mean, even more so than usual. Like, did you know they're making another 00 thing?
Yeah. I'm probably not going to watch it, because if it continues off of second
Did you like the
season,
movie Trailblazer? Or
I didn't watch the movie because it continued. Second season doesn't exist to me.
Oh, it's one of those things where you're just like, la la la.
Like, I've successfully gaslighted myself into thinking second season just isn't even a thing.
Don't worry, we all do it about something that we don't like.
But it's so ruined everything that was great about Gundam 00.
Don't feel bad. I feel that way about Destiny, about Seed. It fucked up the things that Seed did right.
It's like 00 had so much going for it. And realistically...
Also, it had one of the most scummy fucking characters the franchise has ever had.
Seriously.
Like holy shit. Ali Al-Sanchez is one of the biggest douchebags. Like, that's... And the thing is it's almost like he doesn't have like this really big world view either.
He's just an asshole.
He's just an asshole. Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I did this because it was profitable at the time. Basically.
No, the transition toward what made second season awful really started at the final quarter of the first season. Because as soon as the Earth powers got GN drives, all bets were off. Because now they don't need to cooperate and use tactics to fight, to even fight on par with the Gundams. They just fly around and shoot lasers just like the Gundams do. And it makes for the most boring combat ever, because previously where they had... So here's what makes Gundam 00 great. You have this thing called the Tierin. The Tierin is what you get if you basically if you made a Zaku crappier.
I have to do something real quick. I'll be back.
Roger that.
Yep.
Hey, Anubis.
Yo.
That played the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket died.
Oh yeah, or the army.
And the best part, I'm always thinking, what if that scene, but it was with Kaneko as Gomer Pyle? It's like, a jelly donut. I was hungry. And then all the other idols beat her up at night.
Idol boot camp.
There you go, idol boot camp. That'd be great. She's like, I am in a world of shit. What is this Mickey Mouse shit? That almost has like a bad Dojin idea. Again,
they made that one Strike Witches Dojin that was a parody of Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, I gotta find that. Again, I love the concept of like the dark fic, because you just take this thing that's so innocent, but you find this one little thing that you could like just twist and see like how it'd be implemented in like the absolute worst way.
That's how we get K-On! Dojins.
Yeah, Black Time and
Requiem 5 A Dream.
Yeah. Is that like Game Gear music?
So this is a remix of the Clock Tower stage theme from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in a Sega Genesis style.
You know what I need? I need to know the balance. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, hold on. There's a way. I got 2 plugs balancing this. Like the adapters. And I put the pad right on there, so that the forks, the prongs, act like little stands.
Good call.
Because in between it, I have the charger.
Right.
And when the thing gets too hot, I'll take it out. Counterattack of Gigantus. So yeah, basically Neo Zeon has the Ideon. bunch of like really weird like one-shot mangas for Gundam.
Oh yeah.
There's one that's like basically Azaku 1 has a magical girl staff.
Yeah, I was about to mention that one. I know
Blaster
there's that one. I know there's, and I'm not sure if this is a manga or a novel or something, but I know there's a Gundam side story work that with mecha designs by the same person. I think it's the same person who did Steel Battalion.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. For the Barrel. Yes.
For the Barrel.
Yes. The weird, and they have the weirdest names. Gunboy, which was actually the original title that Gundam was going to be. Gundam like Orville or something.
Yeah. Gunboy Orville, Gunboy Wilbur.
Wilbur, that's it. Let's see. I'll actually find it. Manga, novels, and side stories. Right. It's not here. Oh, here it is. For the Barrel. Serialized novel. That's what it was. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Had to get some water.
For
It's
the Barrel,
water.
anime adaptation of that.
See, that would actually be kind of cool, but realistically, what I really just want is a Steel Battalion anime.
Okay, I came in the middle of a conversation.
I know. There was a novel thing for Gundam called For the Barrel, done by the mecha designer that did Steel Battalion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I gotcha.
I'm sure they'll definitely do a Crossbone down the line. It's like the most well-known thing that hasn't been adapted.
Yeah.
That should be like a 13-episode OVA thing or something. Kind of like what that should be like the way Unicorn or 0083 was. I wouldn't want it as a TV series. Right?
I think all three of our stuff would work well as either a series of theatrical OVAs or just a 13-episode run through like a
not as a TV series because that's too that would kind of cripple it. Use the TV budget for like the more mainstream stuff that's like the brand new whatever.
Besides, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't think we need any more UC Gundam TV series.
No.
Probably not. And if there was, it would have to be like one of the far out ones, kind of like Victory is.
Yeah.
To where it's so divorced from the whole Xeon thing.
Which to a certain extent, that's kind of what
G is.
Turn A and
Reconquista and G
are.
Yeah, which unsurprisingly is Tomino.
Yep.
Who was smart to actually do that with Victory, even though I think he hates it because he was going through a serious issue at the time.
Yeah, and that also was the time when Bandai bought Sunrise.
Oh yeah. Was Victory the one where Tomino straight up said, "Don't watch this"?
Yes.
It came, I think interestingly enough, I think it came with the box set where he basically said, "Don't watch this. I was sad at the time," or whatever.
It's weird because when I saw Tomino in person, and someone asked, "What's your favorite mobile suit?" and he said he liked the Victory stuff because he thought the smaller scale made it more realistic.
Well, he's correct about that. That when you reach that point, it makes sense for the the mobile suits to get smaller just because you're able to make a more compact reactor and make more compact thrusters. You don't need a 18-meter tall mobile suit to get, and also takes
Mobile
less
suits
materials
got
to
crazy huge by Shar's counterattack.
Oh yeah, like
by that point, mobile suits are massive.
Yeah, it's just like we're gonna try to push this asteroid by hand.
And the Zai Gundam of like Hathaway's Flash is like something like it's like really big. It's not quite like Psycho Gundam.
Yeah, or the the one from Destiny that was basically that in the Seed universe. I can't think of the name. Was it the Destroy or something?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just this big fucking huge, ridiculous.
Seed was basically. Well, the Seed stuff was basically let's just throw as much stuff to because
pretty much, and Destiny even more so.
We're throwing in the Black Tri-Stars.
Yeah, which by the way, we'll get to see them next Origin episode.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be. Well, that's next month, isn't it?
We'll see the Tri-Stars, not their DOMs. Don't get those till they're on the ground.
Obviously. Well, yeah, I mean that would speaking of inconsistencies, that would be weird.
I think that would be too significant an inconsistency.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like, oh, you mean you had the DOMs at this point, but weren't using them in mass? Really?
The whole thing about the DOM was that was supposed to replace the Zaku.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of Crossbone. There's not just the original. There's several here.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Crossbone's big. It's
actually. I'm
surprised it's not animated yet. To be perfectly honest.
Now that's one they actually could make a series out of.
Yeah, they could.
I know that somewhere. Yeah, they had new type monkeys or monkeys piloting Zaku's.
This sounds like an absolutely terrible idea.
I'm fine with Blue Destiny and the whole exam power system being powered by the tortured soul of a new type. I'm good with that. I'm fine with a lot of things, but I think new type monkeys is where I draw the line. New type monkeys piloting Zaku's very specifically is where I draw the line.
I'm sure it must have been new type, but they I know that they had like monkey piloting Zaku's somewhere.
Anyway, let's get in on the second segment.
It might have been sure. All right, yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio.
Dun, dun, dun.
This episode, we're going to be talking about. This was VZ's idea, and it was a very good idea.
Violent OVAs stuff.
We're talking about hyper-violent 80s OVAs, but we're talking about a few very specific hyper-violent 80s OVAs. So each of us watched, 90s, each of us watched 1 or 2 or 3 of these violent OVAs, and we're going to talk about them. VZ, which did you watch?
I watched the Devilman OVAs.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Devilman thing that's become popular, and MD Geist.
Okay, guys, you watched.
Actually, before that.
Yep.
I was gonna say Golgo 13, the movie, but actually, I'm gonna keep it to the 2 OVAs that I'm talking about. All right.
Okay, guys, what did you watch?
I watched the Guyver OVAs, Bio Booster Armor. There's 12 episodes.
Okay.
And then I watched.
You didn't watch the
Go ahead, VZ. You had a question.
You had a question?
You didn't watch the one shot, did you?
No.
Of the Guyver that I sent you?
No. I did not have the time.
All right, that's fine.
And then I watched Fight Ixer 1 and Genocyber.
Yeah.
I like how I own pretty much almost all of these.
The only one I own so far is Fight Ixer 1.
Yeah, I got that. I've got MD Geist and Genocyber, and I don't have the Guyver, unfortunately.
That's better because even though I have it on DVD, it's it was manga entertainment, and they had
which by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. The dubs from this era are really bad.
Yeah, they're pretty awful. I gotta say.
Like you know, I'm not Mr. Dub anyway, but holy shit, if this is what you thought of when you thought of dubs, I understand why you don't watch them.
Yeah, I would anticipate that these dubs turned a whole lot of people into sub people.
Well, yeah. I will say this: the dub, there's some slight differences from the manga entertainment one and U.S. renditions, because the U.S. renditions of the Guyver is what I started, and I actually like some parts of that dub over the Japanese, but we'll talk about that later when we get to your thing.
Well, I didn't watch it dubbed anyway, so
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. Can I go first with Fight Extra 1?
Yes.
Because I want to talk about how ridiculous this whole anime is.
It is.
This is
what's it? Hyper-powered lesbian mecha cyber
thing. No, this is one teenage girl has a really bad week. The animated series.
Pretty much.
Like this poor. She's just go
wrong with someone's life.
Yeah, like it's not even like everything that can go wrong with someone's life, because that's like you have a series of bad escapades throughout your day in high school. This is like everyone her parents, everyone she's ever known not only gets killed, but turns into a horrible Cthulhu monster and tries to kill her. All because some android girl from space just happened to choose her. I first watched Fight Extra 1 years ago, back when I had like Anime Network on demand. And I didn't finish it then. I didn't see all the episodes, but I saw like the first 2 or so episodes.
Right.
and it was equally ridiculous to me back then. And don't get me wrong, it's cool. I'm down with Fight Extra 1, but looking at it, it's just the most ridiculous turn.
Oh, it is
that you can ever imagine.
I actually knew about. I didn't see Ixer until like the mid 2000s when I bought the DVD, but I actually knew about Ixer since like the 90s.
It's fun. It's nice looking.
Oh, it's
definitely
beautiful.
Like that high OVA.
But, yeah, I think that's one thing you can pretty much say about a lot of these OVAs is that they had a lot bigger budget
and nice character designs.
And especially if there's like any kind of mecha or any kind of cyborg kind of shit going on.
What do I always talk about? What do I always go on about? Me and mecha, and like it has to be 2D. It has to be like really well drawn and detailed, because I know they can do it, because those OVAs are proof. When you're like, oh, it's okay if they're CG, and that's like, yeah, but
I don't even think that's necessarily a cost-cutting measure so much as they just like the new technology.
Well, it's that, and you can retain consistency, and there's a whole lot of other factors. Not to get into the weeds with the CG argument again, but basic rundown of the premise of Fight Extra 1 is Cthulhu monsters are attacking Earth, and Ixer 1 is this android girl trying to save Earth, and that's basically it. A whole lot of people get killed in really horrible ways.
Yes.
It's quite honestly, it's I find that it's less the story and more a whole bunch of cool things happening in sequence.
And I think
it really describes 80s OVAs.
I was just gonna say that.
In a nutshell.
Like you can
pretty much, yeah.
I mean, like sometimes the plots don't completely jive, but you don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's like, ooh, explosions and giant like hybrid bio monster things and shit.
I love how the Earth Defense Forces are like completely fucking useless.
Oh yeah, that's another commonality.
I was about to mention, because
we're gonna go save the Earth.
No, you're gonna die.
So the Cthulhu monsters land on Earth, and the next thing you see is like this elaborate launch sequence for this super weapon. It's like, okay, the Japanese self-defense force has like flying airship super weapons.
I guarantee you that
in any other anime, this would be the main ship that you're following throughout the anime. But in Fighter X 01, it gets destroyed immediately.
Yeah, I guarantee you that one of those people was probably like the animator or someone on the production team, because their face was way too detailed. More detailed.
Well, another thing about this, and again, it's very Lovecraftian, except it's largely more biomechanical instead of just like alien.
Yeah, I feel like they're named the Cthulhu just because it sounds like a cool name at the time.
You can see a lot of parallels, really, because it's like, oh, this thing shows up, inhuman thing, it makes people go batty. It just mass destruction and shit.
Well, I feel like it's less that it makes people go batty and more that it's a disgusting, horrible monster and it's trying to kill you. Like Cthulhu stuff makes you insane just by looking at it.
Like the hair goes white and just
these things are just actually trying to eat you.
One more thing about Ixer, and then you can continue, is the original idea for it ran publication. You might have heard of this, and I'll bring it up again later. Lemon People.
Yep. Lemon People is notable in that there's a Gundam character named after the magazine.
Okay, yeah. It was basically, I call it the comic LO of its day, with a sci-fi ed, but it's basically a hentai publication of its day.
Well, there were a few of these magazines back in the day. Right. Like Manga Buriko was another one of them. And Manga Buriko was famous for the article that coined the term otaku.
Right. There's a part, what was it? What was I going to say? But I'll bring it up again when we get to K-Gots' thing.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say.
All right. Do you want to go on the next thing, Anubis, or do you want me to go to one of my
things? Kind of round robin?
Or... Yeah, we'll go round robin. VZ will do one of yours next.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go next. I'm not gonna talk too much about my thing because I don't have too much to say. But I'm gonna start off with the Devilman OVAs, which are two.
I got one more thing to say about Ixer 1.
Okay.
In spoiler territory. But the resolution is a complete non-resolution, which is exactly what I exploit. Because
it's like time.
Ixer just fixes everything and makes everything back the way it was.
I call that the He-Man movie.
Exactly.
You ever saw the He-Man movie? That's exactly what happens.
And to be fair, that's kind of marginally better than the alternative, which is Earth is devastated and everyone Nagisa knows is dead, and she just goes back to Earth and lives out her life.
There are Ixer sequels. There are Ixer sequels.
Yeah, I've seen like art books and stuff for other Ixer works. Oh, it was
not as good as
that part
this,
I wanted to mention, and it's another part. When Ixer saves Nagisa and goes to Earth and then leaves Nagisa to go fight the Cthulhus and Big Gold and whatnot, that was just the craziest shit to me. Because okay, I'm Ixer 1. I'm sworn to protect Nagisa, so I'm gonna give her a cheerleader outfit with a force field and leave her in the middle of the city. Bye. Oh, okay. The city's being taken over by Cthulhu monsters. Good luck. That just seemed like the craziest possible thing to you.
Actually, one of the craziest things from Ixer that you don't think about first was like, wait, this was actually a trend. Was like Nagisa wanting to be like a pro wrestler. I heard was like a fad in the 80s for Japan for girls. It was like it's like really a girl that that mousy is like wants to be a pro wrestler.
Pro wrestler. She's gonna be the next Dwayne the Rock Johnson. But probably not, because Ixer just left her in the middle of the city filled with Zerg from StarCraft.
So you could call it like
in a cheerleader outfit that all it has it just projects a force field, which I don't know. Like, we don't find out until she gets attacked, which happens immediately because she just gets left in the middle of the city, taken over by the undead scourge. They like out here with the Cthulhu monsters.
I even love the part when
bye, Nagisa. I know I swore to protect you, but I'm gonna go fight the people now. Bye.
Anyone love the part when Ixer 2 shows up? And
Yeah.
it's like that like whistly soundtrack music. It's like it's like she gets her own theme. And then she comes up with like Ixer Ixer Sigma, which is like her evil robot. Yeah.
That's one thing I love about
adding cooler names onto the end.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about how the Japanese like with their naming schema is like they'll just like we're just gonna add like fucking a Greek letter or something to the end of it,
or just the names of the Cthulhu people.
Oh yeah,
Sepia, Cobalt, Big Gold.
yeah. I mean, like, and this isn't related. This isn't related to just the shows we're talking about. They do this in all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah,
Redist and Blueba, basically red and blue.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like I mean, like okay, we'll go that and they like to use nicknames for people too. It seems like, which I've got which me and Anubis have come up with a sort of a maxim regarding that. And that's anybody who has a nickname in like Gundam or any kind of sci-fi or anything like that is people that you don't want to fuck with.
Yeah.
By and large.
The Red Comet. Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from him.
Crimson
the Man
Lightning.
From Jupiter.
Nightmare of Solomon. I mean, that one alone should put you off.
Yeah, exactly.
Or what I'm going to talk about, Most Dangerous.
There we go. Hit it, VZ.
Most dangerous ever.
Go.
Okay, so I think we should move on to next thing. So the Devilman OVAs. The first one came out in '87. This first episode, but of course, Devilman had the manga and the TV series.
The TV series. Go Nagai for noobs.
Yeah, this OVA is definitely like when you think of OVAs, you know.
Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of blood and stuff. And actually, one thing I remarked about, this might be because it was a Blu-ray rip from Japan, obviously. But it's really good for this. Like the audio for it, like the way the blood sounds, I'm trying to describe. It just sounded really good, like the dripping sound.
Yeah,
I know. I'm trying
that sounds so much like Vlad the Impaler or something. Like, ooh, the dripping sound gets me going.
So yeah, right off the bat, it starts with like rabbits that have been like disemboweled or that Akira finds.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, well that gives you kind of a as a basic. Okay, well I know where this is going.
You know
so I have a question, K. K-Gods, because you've seen the TV series.
Oh yeah.
Man, does it have the thing where it's like with the one with the blonde hair has to lead Akira to like the mansion and like a party thing, and that's how they get the power of Satan?
I don't remember that.
Okay, because that's what they do in this. And they actually kind of do this, even though I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of the new one. They also do that, but because this was the 80s when this one was made, and the Netflix one is the one with it kind of reflects the time frame of each of those. Because in the 80s one, it has the background music. They got a Japanese metal band you might have heard called Anthem.
Oh yeah, I know who Anthem are. Yeah, they're kind of they're sort of Judas Priesty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I'm not even a metal expert, but I agree there.
No, but I think you see where I'm going with that.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah. So they did like they had some of the songs of theirs in this.
Okay, yeah. I might even know a few of them, so I'd have to check that out.
Yeah, really cool monster designs again, devil designs.
They've always been good at those.
Devil cartoons from the Orient.
Yeah. Although in this case, that's actually true.
Yeah, this is the original devil cartoon from the
Like
Orient.
it's like you know. All right, yeah. So go ahead.
So one thing to note: Devilman doesn't grow giant in this at all. They keep it simple.
Oh, okay. So they don't do like they did in the original, where it kind of looks almost like Ultraman kind of shit or something.
No, but I'm almost certain that was more of a TV series only thing.
Yeah, because he like grows really. Yeah, he grows like gigantic. I mean, I'm sure giantess type people are into that, but you know.
I think that was just more of a. We have to make this more of like in line with like the other type of stuff that was at the time. Like
yeah, exactly. Like Godzilla was really popular and kind of stuff.
Yeah, Ultraman. But in a way, this
or Gojira, as they probably say,
kind of has a feeling of the way of like what you'll talk about the Guyver OVAs. I actually did rent this in the early 2000s.
Oh wow!
Stupid enough to think. I don't know, like I knew Devilman was a 70s thing, and I was thinking, like, was this made in the 70s? It's like, no, but no, I was like,
no, it's original, its origins are, but...
This is the 80s OVA version of what
yeah, Cutie Honey's the same way. Also by him, also by Gunna Guy.
Yes.
So
this does have this has the character designs of, like, they're both retro, but they're also of the time.
Yeah, and that's always interesting when they can kind of pull those together.
Yeah, I like his girlfriend also.
Yep.
I forgot her name. She's cute.
Yeah, that's one thing anime has always had pretty much, at least from the 70s on, and that's cute girls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, when we talk about your thing,
There's some cute girls in Guyver.
What else? So then the second episode was made in 1990, and that one had Siren.
Yeah,
that's a product. Yeah, I like that design. That's
right.
Cool design. In this one, because it's an OVA, it has the breasts.
Because, that's one thing that's definitely true with all of the these OVAs is there's usually sex. Not even just nudity, but actual sex. That's very common.
Yeah, there was
it's kind of the R movie, HBO movie of the time. You know,
right?
So it's like whoa, it's R. We're gonna give it a reason to be R.
There's a part when she was taking a bath and the water actually is like another demon.
Right.
Which is like terrifying if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
Now, the only thing is, I don't like the ending to this because it's just kind of...
That's another trait of OVAs is like just kind of like what the fuck endings, like where it's just kind of like it just drops off almost.
Where it's kind of like Siren merges with another demon monster, and both them and Devilman fight, but then it's like you think Devilman died, but he didn't, but she kind of like turned to like, I wouldn't say stone, but just like just stood still, was like, and then died or something. I was kind of the only weak thing, but everything else that was kind of impressive.
Right.
Really impressive anime.
Right, and that's again very common endings, just kind of like. Sunrise has been guilty of this too, in general, which is where they'll just have an ending it just feels kind of wrapped up really. I can't even think of the right word or phrasing here, but when something it doesn't feel like it's quite finished.
Yeah, they kind of hastily wrap it up.
Yeah, there's a term for this, and it's totally eluding me right now.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah, it's sort of anticlimactic, or it's just like, oh crap, we got to finish it in this episode, so let's finish it, break it now. Like that.
Yeah, a lot of OVAs are like that.
Yes,
Like,
and in some cases, it's because they left it open to where they could make more if they wanted to.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. That's like the OVA.
That's anime in a fucking nutshell.
That's like the OVA that you would actually really like, K-Gods.
Yeah.
If we make this topic episode of Hyperviolent, but Relic Armor like Guy Sam.
I like the name. I like the names of these things.
Like Sam. It was directed and done and character designed by Hirohiko Kitazume, the one that did Zeta, Shar's Counterattack.
Yeah. So yeah. So you know it's good at least on that level.
Where it's like the credits where again, it's another one of those where it just kind of ends.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, we're done.
And then the credits say, "See you later."
Or you to be continued or some shit, and then it never is. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Devilman, or?
No, I say I recommend it.
Okay.
I will say that I did see like a clip from like again the part where they're summoning the demons in the mansion or whatnot.
Right.
But in that Netflix one, because it reflects now, it was like modern music, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Crybaby?
Yeah.
The newest one? Yeah.
There was both twerking and sex.
Okay, I could. The twerking, not necessary. The sex is okay.
Yeah, I think there was twerking or something like that. But yeah, it's very much now.
I don't need to think of Akira twerking.
Huh.
That's not a visual I want.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No. But like I said, if 80s OVA one was pretty much like this is the 80s. Then that next one is this is now.
This is the 2010s. Yeah.
Yeah. So we gotta have twerking.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Okay. And the less probably said about that, the better.
It's like hip hop music or rap or something in that like party thing.
All right. Well. Okay. So now I'll go into mine. The Guyver, Bio Booster Armor or Bio Booster Armor Guyver.
Also known as the first what I would call real anime I ever saw. Even though I've seen anime before.
Which that's interesting because holy shit.
I was 11 years old.
Oh my god! Oh geez.
Yeah. I was 11 years old.
Holy shit!
Me too.
Okay, little pieces of trivia. You guys might not care, but the audience might enjoy it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the dub, but I've seen parts of it, and this is significant because there's a very prominent voice actor that this was their debut.
Oh, I think I know.
Steve Blum.
Oh, no. Okay. I was gonna say Melissa.
For those who don't know who that is, Mr. Spike Spiegel.
Yeah.
Right, but also Melissa Fon.
Right, and he's done other names. I think he used David Lucas as a pseudonym.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did, but maybe it had something to do with some kind of technical reasoning or legal shit.
They're not union.
Okay. Yeah, that is probably why then. Okay.
Or something like if they're union but they work outside that, they have to use these.
Yeah, they have to use a pseudonym. Right. Okay, that makes sense because I know he was Gara in Bastard, and that was David Lucas. And I first saw that I was like, holy shit, that's like the same voice. Is that like the same guy or?
So I have to know your first impressions of this. This is your first
Okay. First off, it's got everything we've been talking about. It's hyper violent and it's pretty detailed and whatnot. The blood though looks kind of goofy. I'm not gonna lie. The blood is it has this very almost like it's got too much magenta or something in it. So it kind of looks kind of wonky. And you see a lot of it, so you'll know.
That was the first thing I ever saw.
Yeah, which is fascinating in the sense that like there's all these like tentacle monster type elements. like when people are possessed by it, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
When they, like wraps them up, like it's like, oh, I've seen enough schoolgirls have this happening to know what's about to go down. But no, and then it becomes like this sort of symbiotic, sort of like bio.
It's going inside.
Like cyborg kind of shit. And it's cool. And again, it looks really neat. It's got a couple of the music's interesting. It's very 80s
I love
as well.
the music.
Yeah, it's very 80s as well.
It's 80s, but it's also really like a good job of something that, but it does great. The hauntingness.
Oh yeah, for sure. There is sort of like this sort of eerie underbelly. And another thing that was very true of a lot of these 80s OVAs is fucking not government, but governments and corporations are one and the same.
Yeah. Which I'll get to
which,
later.
Which, by the way, is the definition of fascism, at least in the original sense.
There's I'll talk about it, but there's a thing there's an aspect to this that actually feels more
true now than it was when it was made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the first thing I ever saw. This is the
interesting.
First time I saw a Japanese schoolgirl sailor uniform.
Oh yeah, Mizuki.
That awakened the moe aspect in me.
She's very cute.
Yes.
She's very cute. Her personality is very fun too.
Yeah. Where she
she's got like almost Sun elements a little bit, in that she's got sort of the humph,
It's like, I told you to stay home from school today.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, like I said, you got these alien things. They're
the Zonoids.
Yeah, the Zonoids. Those are interesting too, because it's like, again, you got these pair of military groups running around, and somewhat incompetent, as you said. It's like, holy shit, what's that thing? I don't know. Run.
Right.
Let's. And I also love the fact that the people that are in charge of these mega conglomerates fucking know about all this stuff. That's the other great thing that you see in a lot of these OVAs, is that the people that are in charge of these giant Genom Corporation types things, they're all aware of this stuff. They know what these things are. They know how it works.
Richard Joe.
Huh?
Richard Joe.
Yeah. So again, it's really fun. It's well worth watching in the sense that it's. You may want to pass on the dub just because there's some really wince-inducing, people can't act kind of stuff.
But there are also some parts of the dub I do.
Yeah, but how much of that is just nostalgia attachment?
It probably is nostalgia attached.
And they do the thing that I love that anime does, is they don't refer to them as episodes. They refer to them as data.
Oh, yeah.
Data 1 is episode 1, data 2. You get what I mean.
Well, actually, the best one of those is in Hades Project Zeromeyer. There's a connection there to the Guyver in a second. I'll get there in a sec. It wasn't next episode. It was Next Wars.
Not war, wars.
Wars. Yes. That's
the manga for the Guyver is the original mangaka for Hades Project Zeromeyer, and Zeromeyer ran in Lemon People.
So yeah, these OVAs though ran from the first part of it was it was split into two different things. The first 6 were all put out between 89 and 1990.
Yeah.
Okay, and part 2 actually was the last 6, but those came out in 92. So there's a little bit of a stopgap.
Yeah, there's a stopgap. There's also a slight style difference.
Yes, there are, which is very common in OVAs that are apart like that.
Yeah,
because the different people come in and out, and different directors show up and things like that.
Yeah, we talked about this when we did Megazone
2-3, which is 100% right up that same kind of alley.
Was episode
You mean Data?
Episode 4 shocking to you?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, here's why I say it kind of like, in a way, again, one, it was a little shocking back then, but in a way, it kind of feels like now with the whole, was it fake news cover?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
I did catch that and kind of got a giggle out of that.
Like, we should those schools are with shoddy construction. I agree. They should get, and then like
yeah, exactly. Or how about the fact that like in the first episode, like it power drives the thing into the ground, like the whole truck, like he grabs it and just like slam dunks it into the concrete pretty much, and it's just like, oh wow, how did this happen? It's like it was a traffic accident, you know. It's just like, no, it looks like somebody picked it up and smashed it into the ground, but it's like this big moving truck type deal, you know, like semi moving.
I don't know why. Oh well.
What's going on?
I can't connect to the chat.
Oh, okay. I also love the name of the group in here, Kronos.
Yes.
I've always loved how they name things, and I mean, because they always have these really sci-fi. And I know this isn't really a sci-fi thing. This is actually a the god of time or whatever. I know that's what Kronos actually is. Yeah. But I always like how they do that. Have these like sort of futurism type names of stuff. Sometimes they don't make sense, but they're cool sounding.
Well, you see in a lot of more cyberpunk or any Japanese work where corporations take over the world.
Oh yeah,
they always have these cool ass names like Armored Core, Murakuma Millennium.
Well, here's the thing though. If these were real, and if they were actually doing that, like instead of just being sci-fi or whatever, if they were actually making these companies, they'd be a fucking pharmaceutical name. You know it's true.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing, and this is the biggest regret I have about the coming cyberpunk dystopia we're going to live in, is that the corporations that are going to take over the world don't have cool names like
they're going to be Pfizer.
the names, the corporations that are taking over the world have dumb names like Google.
Google, yeah. Oh yeah. That's like
I'll pilot a giant robot for money for Emerald or Kisaragi Corporation, but not Google.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. That like we've gotten really lame with naming stuff, because we used to name things in cool, like even unions were called the Knights of Labor. and you know what I mean?
That was the local 519 or something.
It's like, oh, that has no like magisterial kind of element to it.
It doesn't have gravitas. I mean, at least something like SpaceX has some kind of even if it's a little bit generic. SpaceX, okay,
it still sounds better than like launcher of cars into interstellar.
Cars into interstellar. Still the stupidest shit. It's the stupidest shit, but it's indicative of the fact that we've reached a new era in humanity.
Oh, for sure.
Like space is just a giant toy to us now.
It's no, I see. That's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say there was an era before launching a car into space and after. We call it the Musk era.
But I thought we were in the post-apocalyptic era.
But that ended. That era ended
when we launched the car into space.
So listen, there's Apate. Apate is pretty pivotal. Not gonna lie, but Elon Musk just proved.
The PU only lasted 5 years.
Yeah. Yep. Only lasted 5 years, and then Elon Musk proved that space is now just a giant toy to humanity. Now we're just gonna launch, and what really happens is he's either saved us all or doomed us all. Because what happens is either
General Motors is going to get on the moon, and
we reach a point where anyone can send things into space and we're responsible about that, or reach a point where everyone's just sending bullshit into space and we get what's called I forgot the name, but it's what happens when you have a bunch of debris in space and you have so much that it starts running into each other. And
it starts like collecting?
Not collecting, no. It breaks up into pieces, and all those pieces accelerate, and basically you have this shell.
Artificial meteors falling down.
Yeah, not even falling down, no. You have this shell of small fragments in orbit traveling at high speed that basically shreds anything that tries to leave the atmosphere.
Okay, I just got this funny visual.
That's what it's called. And if you watch Planet Test, that's basically what they're trying to prevent.
Right. It's like, well, you got all these like again junk shit flying around there, and then it starts falling back down. It's like you're driving down the road one day, and all of a sudden, a giant ball of condensed scrap metal that people just decided, well, we're not going to put it in a junkyard. We'll just throw it into space.
That's how you know that we've reached peak space, when we start disposing of trash in space, because it actively costs a lot of money to put it up there in the first place.
Like, can you imagine, instead of like garbage men, well, you'd still have them, but they collect it. Instead of taking it to the landfill, they take it to the launching site, like, and they pile it into a big
what a fucking waste.
Well, it is a waste.
Let's move on before we get too deep in the
too much. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's got like these cool fights, and the music has this sort of like creepy underbelly to it. The dub, the less said about it, probably the better.
All the weapon attack names too.
Oh yeah. Lots of fun stuff there, and it looks really cool. Like, just rips open his chest and fires the guns out. Fire these like giant laser plasma weapons. It's just good stuff.
Would you agree with me that okay, the animation isn't really the best?
No, I've seen better,
but well detailed.
Oh yeah. I like it from a design perspective for sure. And again.
What a like first introduction to anime proper, you know?
Yeah, oh for sure. And like I said, the transformation between the people in these like symbiotic like suits, for the lack of a better term, is, because it reminds you kind of like Venom, the comic book character from Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it works kind of like that. I could totally see that actually of being an influence. I think it would have. Venom was created by 89, I think, right?
I think so.
I think 87, but we're probably 80. I'll check. 87.
Because I could see that being an influence on this thing, the way it kind of like wraps around the body and all that. But anyway,
the manga came out in 85.
Oh yeah. So who knows? But in any case, it's cool. It has basically all the elements you have of these 80 OVAs. Right. Corrupt government that is also in cahoots with corporations, or is the corporation,
right?
In many ways.
There is a word for that. It started with a Z.
I was going to say, what, fascism?
Zaibatsu.
There was a Japanese word to describe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you meant a Japanese.
What you're looking for is Zaibatsu.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
And technically, that isn't even the definition of that word. That's more like when a corporation controls multiple industry sectors, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and it's got, again, the names of these things are fun. And to go back a little bit with the trivia, the Japanese voice actors has a very prominent voice in here, and that's Norio Wakamoto.
Yes.
Who plays Lisker, this total fucking douche, who plays this total fucking douche hat.
Yeah, for one episode.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is he's in the show.
Again later.
And of course you got a cute school girl in Mizuki Sagawa. Yeah, couldn't remember exactly if that was it or not. Yeah. And the main character is your typical, I'm at school, things are going wrong around me kind of shit. I got some friends and whatnot. I see this fucked up shit go down. I mean, it's very tropey by now,
There's also Murakami, the guy.
Yeah.
No, Agito, I forgot his last name. But yeah, the Guyver 3.
Yes, and by the way, that's who Steve Blum plays, by the way, in the English version. Just so you know. Yes. Right. And yes, that's very it's all very good. I enjoyed it. You do have to have kind of a taste for this sort of stuff, I guess. Because it's not going to blow you away in the same way like some of your more high profile stuff might. You really do have to kind of have an appetite for this.
Yeah, it's not even like not that it's my favorite thing, even though I own it, but like an Akira that has like
No,
this is
but more like if you did like Mega Zone 2-3 and things like that.
Right.
Even though I would say that actually is better looking too, but
because I was kind of like really shocked with the violence, but then I grown to like it. Because really, before that, the closest like violent thing I ever saw in like animation outside of like The Simpsons, well, jokingly, was probably like Transformers the movie, meaning like where characters died and such.
Right.
Yeah. Although they die brutally in this.
Yeah, well, the difference is, Transformers the movie, robots, these are people. And
just getting vaporized by laser weaponry and melting and shit. Like some sort of like Indiana Jones, open the Ark of the Covenant, blast to the face.
Yeah.
So
the second half of the OVAs kind of just ends, again, a little ambiguously. Or
it does. Which when I go into these, I expect that. Like, I'm not disappointed by that anymore because it's like, I mean, because it's such a common OVA thing that happens. So it's like, how can you even be disappointed anymore at this point? If you know that's a very common.
Now, the second act, I didn't see until like I got like the DVDs in the 2000s. But so only 1 to 6 I saw in the 90s, and that took.
Which, to be fair, that's actually okay because the way they're parted, that actually works out.
Right.
Because Jada 1 through 6 is all from a time period, whereas part 2 in 1992, there's that little stopgap of a couple years before the rest of them came out.
One thing you didn't get to see in the downloads that was in like you could probably find it on YouTube is the Zonoid, like it's like a factoid thing where it gives like the little bio of like each Zonoid.
Right. And to be fair, again, for more what do you call it? More factoids is they actually did make some live actions of these.
Yep.
Yes, I saw those too.
I've never seen them. So I have no idea if they're worth looking at or not.
The first one is very, very silly. There's
Ouch.
There's a rapping Zonoid.
Okay, I'm already not gonna watch this. Holy shit! The first one actually stars Mark Hamill.
Yes. He's not even a main character in it. He's just a cop.
Yes, Luke Skywalker is in the fucking Guyver.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Wow. He plays a character named Max Reed.
Right.
Which, wow. How did I not know that? I guess, well, does anybody know anything he's in besides Star Wars? I mean, really?
Exactly.
He's also the voice of the Joker in Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Well, there you go. And there's a second one, too, called Dark Hero.
Yeah, the second one's a little bit better.
Anything's probably going to be better than a rapping Noah Zoid. Or Zoanoid, rather. I reversed that.
Right.
But okay. Let's move on.
Right. Well, back to Anubis.
Okay, so the second one I watched, technically a violent 90s OVA, but given how violent it is, I'm gonna count it. It was Genocider.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most violent.
We're talking about people getting killed in the Guyver. Yeah. People get really killed in Genocider.
Yes, they do.
The lovingly depicted of children getting shredded
getting
machine gun fire.
mulched by helicopter gunfire.
Right.
So
the bones, the tendons, the muscles, all that.
Kid's head gets split. It gets split apart.
Oh yeah.
And so notably, Genociber is banned in Japan.
Yes, it actually got banned in Japan. It also came
due
out
to its
first
extreme
here.
violence. Yeah.
It came out. Yeah, I think it was because of the like what I just said. Probably because of the killing of the children.
Yeah, they
That's like
a bunch of actual kids get brutally killed by this helicopter.
So yeah, describe what goes on.
So
I know it's another one of those, a bunch of scenes, and you're trying to like string them all together.
Well, yeah. So the Genociber does kind of a similar thing to what Megazone 2-3 did, where Megazone 2-3 is like the first two parts are kind of related, and then the third part is all really tangentially related.
Right,
and Genociber is like the first part is kind of establishing characters and whatnot. The second part is the second two episodes are their own story, and then the last two episodes go completely somewhere else, and you only really see it get related back to the actual Genociber storyline during at the way end of those two episodes.
Right.
I do remember distinctly. I think it was them. Anime Reviews really did not like this piece of media. They like they had like an apoplectic screeching fest.
Given the track record, I'm not surprised. This is incredibly violent.
They didn't like Photokano either.
But
that's a whole different type of show, though.
Yeah, they didn't like that because they thought it was sexist, even though it really wasn't. I can guarantee you that they didn't like Genociber because it's just violence all the time.
Yeah, like the name, it is what it says on the 10.
It's also another one of those Bad Day, the anime.
Oh yeah, like you're just going outside to take the bus and like. Yeah, that.
Yeah, the boy gets molested.
Yeah.
It's like and this girl witnesses this all this like crazy ass carnage. It's
like I don't blame her for turning into this friggin' huge monster.
And
really
blowing up like
and
Hong Kong.
Pretty much destroying Hong Kong, blowing up this aircraft carrier, and killing most of the people in the world. I really don't blame her.
Influenced by Akira, you could tell.
Yeah.
Because of the cyberpunk and the psychic children experimenting on children thing.
Yeah. So the like baseline basis is this crazy doctor comes up with a way to like harness psychic energy and uses this woman and this little girl to do it, and it ends up making everything worse for everybody.
Pretty much.
Okay. I actually went and checked it out because I thought it would be a fun addition to all this. I actually found the review, and there's some choice. Right. There's some choice comments in here. This has to be one of the most sickeningly violent things I've ever seen.
Yes.
Seeing children literally shot apart at the beginning of episode 2 is probably one of the things that turned me off completely to this series, which is so laden with violence that any message that it's trying to tell is drowned out beneath the blood.
There is no message.
No. Well, I think that's what they were saying.
What message?
Okay, but it gets better. Some things were just never meant for people. No. Come on, guys. There's more. Some things were just never meant for people to call, quote, entertainment, unquote. And just like Faces of Death, this OAV is one of them. By the way, that tells me all I need to know about you, that you mentioned Faces of Death. Okay. Anyway, but there's some other great lines in here too. I'm not going to read all of this shit. Okay. An innocent, stripping, awful, scarring, and disgusting piece of art that debases Japanese animation as a medium. Recommended audience. Absolutely not for children. Brutal and gory, this relentlessly violent series is potentially more offensive than a good portion of hentai titles out there.
Wow.
As the gore factor overshadows any plot that is being offered throughout the first half of the series. There is also a fair bit of foul language. In a scene of two of brief nudity, though nothing explicit.
They don't know how to write.
Okay, and no, they don't. And notes. They didn't even finish the show, by the way. I had my fill by the third episode of the series. Yes, there are 5 episodes, but I saw enough to know where it's going.
Realistically, you can end off on the 3rd episode and not miss a whole lot, because
that's not the point.
The last 2 episodes are like, and what I know that's not the point, but that's what I'm saying when it's sort of like Megazone 2-3. It's like you can end off on the 2nd episode of Megazone 2-3, and you're not really gonna, like, you don't miss much by not having watched the last 2 episodes of Megazone 2-3.
Oh, and I skipped a good one that kind of also lets us into the inside of this person. Okay.
Hit it.
Okay. Showing graphic on-screen violence toward children is just far too much for me to handle. Oh, so you mean against something that's not real? Ink on paper. Sorry, but that shows us why these people get so upset about this other stuff too.
Well, it's like I get it. It's a brutal scene. It's supposed to be a brutal scene.
Oh, for sure.
And realistically, I can't hate. Yeah, it's children getting brutally murdered by a helicopter in this anime. I get it. I can't hate on this because it looks so good. Like, they were super detailed about this friggin' killing children scene. Like, you could make an argument that they probably took some kind of sadistic pleasure in drawing all this stuff out, because it's really so. Like, you can frame by frame through this, and it's like, wow, they put a lot of work into seeing these children get mutilated by this, because you see, like,
you know what that reminds
bone just.
You know what it reminds me of though? Did you ever see Apocalypse Now?
Yeah,
yes. That scene where they're just like running those miniguns on the thing and just mulching the fuck out of things.
Right,
because it's like
an animated version of that.
Yeah, it's, and again, horrible, but they're really detailed about how these people are getting torn to shreds, absolutely cut to ribbons by this machine gun. So I can't hate on that. Like, of course, the content's horrible. Like, content-wise, I can't believe I have to say this. Yes, it's wrong to shoot children, but it's really well animated, and I can't hate on that.
So yeah, I had to bring this up because I distinctly remember just this review in particular, and kind of giggling a bit at it, how much offense they took to something that, like, go ahead.
Sorry,
I said go ahead.
Go ahead, VZ.
I was gonna say it was actually kind of a low budget OVA. Like, the budget was like apparently like really low. The price point.
For a low budget OVA, it looks really nice.
Yeah,
like, it's not just the murdering children scene that looks great.
Just is how much passion do they have for them to work on the thing.
Yeah, exactly. They put a lot, and I'm heavily appreciative, because again, not just the mulching children with a machine gun thing, but a whole lot of you see a lot of people get independent of that particular scene. You see a lot of people get dismembered. You see a lot of just body horror. Like the whole carrier turns into this giant flesh tentacle thing, and that's really detailed.
What's the name of that weird game? Uta something.
Sayana Uta.
Oh yeah. It's similar to that.
Lovecraftian kind of like yeah. Of course, that's different because that's porn.
Right. The soundtrack is also really good on this.
Oh yeah, I actually have it. It's certainly pretty interesting there. Anyway, continue or pass it along.
Go ahead, VZ, with your next one.
Okay, so I think mine is the last thing, unless any of you seen anything else.
Unfortunately, I didn't have as much time as I wanted, so.
That's all right. The Guyver was a good one too. I let it slide because not slide, but because your thing was 12 episodes.
Yeah.
So
that's to be fair.
All right. So I checked out technically 2 parts, but another classic of mine, especially the original version. One of my favorites. I don't care what people say. I still love it. Although it's kind of over the years gotten a sort of re-appreciation. Because here's the thing was, when it came out in Japan, nobody cared. You know, it was just another one, long line of hyper-violent OVAs. It came, it went. When it came out here in the early 90s, it actually sold pretty well for Central Park Media. But then there was the hype backlash because I guess didn't want the image tainted of anime as
opposed to people who were fans of Akira.
Well, I think it was because of the but I think it was also because the way the guy that was in charge of Central Park Media at the time, I forgot his name.
Well, whatever.
He kind of like built up MD Geist and even made it like the company logo.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh yeah,
US Manga Corps.
Yeah,
man. If you're an older fan or just have a bunch of older titles from them, you remember that.
And so, but then kind of like around the what I would say like K-On! Era of the Moe boom. People kind of like going back to like we almost like we miss these hyper-violent OVA things.
Yeah, which is very hypocritical because a lot of the same people were bitching about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they actually were popular.
So I knew about MD Geist in
Most Dangerous.
Yes, Most Dangerous. Around the time the Guyver, I saw the Guyver. Because here's the thing. When I was around 11, 12...
totally something you should be watching at 11 or 12. Of
course.
Well, I would go into Sam Goody, and...
Coincidentally, that's where I used to buy anime, too.
I don't think I've ever seen a Sam Goody in my life.
Right. Well, I was there to tag along with my brother at the time, and I would just look at what anime was there. Even though it'd be years till I seen most of them. Years later till I seen them. That's where I learned about. It was just based on the cover. These were based on the cover. I pulled out the spine. Bubblegum Crisis. I don't know what the fuck Bubblegum Crisis means, but holy shit, the way Pris is drawn with the little bits of armor coming out, that was the most immaculate thing I've ever seen. Pull out another one. MD Geist, the most dangerous ever. And you just see this guy in armor with like all the mechanical stuff and fog, and it just is so ominous. And it's like, you're 11 and you see that's gonna like go right into your, you know.
Yeah, it's the coolest shit to you when you're 11
exactly.
years old.
So, but I didn't actually see it until I want to say 14, until I was 14. So it was around like 95, and I finally rented a Blockbuster. I I really enjoyed it at that time. I fell in love with it at the time.
That's where I first saw MD Geist as well. I rented it from Blockbuster.
And this is
Tales from Old Fandom.
And not only that, unlike the Guyver, that was the dub, Blockbuster had the sub version. So
Lucky.
I was actually introduced with the sub version first. And first off, I didn't even know until years later, this whole thing that people hated MD Geist. I thought it was like one of the coolest things. I loved the soundtrack. In fact, I own the soundtrack. I love the mechanical designs. I loved, again, just the fact that like MD Geist again, the whole like nihilism thing.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. That was absolutely like, that's another thing about a lot of these 80s OVAs is the future they portray is bleak as fuck in almost all of them. I mean, like, it's like, oh well, who cares? Shit happens. Get a helmet.
I'm kind of sad and a little sad, dismayed that my DVD doesn't work anymore. Probably from Sandy.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, who's Sandy? Oh wait.
Yeah, Hurricane Sandy, because it contained.
Tell that bitch to go home.
By Koichi Ohara himself, the director. All right, and you learn some interesting, valuable shit. When, first off, the people who animated it hated working on it. Because one of the reasons was they thought that the designs were too complex. Also, he talked about something that you don't think about, but when you watch it, you think about, and that's the notion of gravity. Because think about what a lot of sci-fi anime at the time was doing. Space. And what doesn't space have? Gravity. You could just have a spaceship or a mobile suit slide over. But when you're fighting on the ground, you have to have, especially
the principles of gravity apply. You
gotta walk.
Yeah, especially on motorcycles that bounce up and down.
Oh yeah.
And he kept it no secret that he was influenced by. It actually, I shouldn't say he did, but he didn't direct this. It was another guy that did it. But in actuality, he directed it. It's just at the time he was considered a newbie, so they had someone else. But in actuality, it's his thing.
Right.
But him. It was him and the writer talking about a lot of the stuff. One of the things he said, again, influenced by Western movie stuff, Mad Max and all that. The OVA era, like basically the start of the OVA era, was like, now we could do whatever, you could show stuff that you can't show on TV. And then he goes specifically, and what can't you show on TV? Sex and violence. And, okay, so I guess I should tell the story. So Andy Geist is a super soldier, but he was too hardcore. He was too dangerous. So
was he dangerously Japanese?
There's two factions fighting civil war on this planet called Jera that looks a lot like Earth. There's the regular army, which is their name, the regular army, and then the Nextrum army. And so they imprisoned him on a satellite. Satellite crashes to the planet. He wakes up. His hair is long. He has a beard. He crushes up. He takes a pocket watch and he crushes it like dust, even though that's not how metal works. Like dust. Unless he's that strong to just, great opening song by Hironobu Kageyama. No, not Violence to the Flame. What's the MD Geist song? Yeah, the hold on. Oh, Merciless Soldier. That's it. Yeah, Merciless Soldier. So then, he runs a bunch of Mad Max style thugs.
That's a perfect way to describe shit.
He takes the armor off of this guy from the Rega army. Then so he kills the head guy of the gang. This very large black guy cuts off his arms. And the main female there is like pretty much oh, you're so impressive, guys. Let me have sex with you. And it just about like
boy, if that ain't the fucking 80s.
It's like you're useless to me. You're not telling me anything interesting. Because he's asking all these questions and shit. It's like, let's forget about that for a moment. Guys, let's have sex.
That's just ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, there's skull candlesticks.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I ought to pop it out of my collection because I've got the collection with that Genocyber and Cybernetics Guardian.
Well, I'll get to that. The one that's on the disc that you have, which does have the director's commentary, is also the director's cut. And the difference between the director's cut and the original 86 version was in 1996, to do for part 2, which Central Park Media funded to make that, by the way. They added in a couple of new scenes to try to make a little more sense. It doesn't have to make any sense. It just crazy shit happens for the sake of crazy shit. That's why I prefer the 86 version. The sound effects are changed up. Also, they replaced the original voice, Japanese voice actor Norio Wakamoto as Geist.
I gotta love that.
So then, what is it? There's this giant tank by the Rega army, and he Geist meets a guy that kind of recognizes him. Oh no, the guy recognizes Geist by seeing the dog tags on his thing that says MD. What is it?
Okay, somebody needs to do that. Like, wouldn't that be funny to just show up at a con and just have that? Like, not anything else, just the dog tag.
See how many people recognize you?
Yeah, like not any kind of armor or anything like that, just the dog tag.
Well, and what else happens? So then, yeah, they find out that and this is the Rega army that had this. They had like basically like the final weapon for like this planet is like this thing called no, they have to go into a place called the Brain Palace to deactivate a thing called the Death Force. And the Death Force is these thousands of robots that just destroy all life on the planet. But then so they go in there, they have to deactivate it. Geist fights this awesome robot that I love. It looks like a combination of, and he even said it, he took the design from Shiva, the god Shiva. Oh no, or either Shiva or Asura. A combination of that and the robot Brave Radine. So it's that. And it has 3 forms. The second form is this sort of like.
This isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to do it.
Nah, that's fine. And then the third form is like basically like a robot skeleton. See, in the director's cut, they put the theme "Violence of the Flame" in this part, but I prefer the use of the theme at the very end because the way the original A6 version, you find out after Geist kills Cruz by crushing his head. It's like, and he didn't want to.
Such a great description.
He was running out of time. And there was like a time thing. It's like, so it's like, okay, I gotta finish this fight.
Do you ever notice that that's a common thing in action anime? That there's like oh crap, shit's even some of the Gundam stuff does that.
Yeah.
Right.
Where it's like, oh shit, I don't have much time because of some external shit going on. That I'm trying very hard not to ruin anything by spoilers by saying what some of these things are.
Right.
But I think you know where I'm getting at. It's like, there's like something bomb or something about to go off or some cataclysmic meltdown or nuclear launch or some shit. Anything like that. That's pretty common.
Yeah, have to create some contrivance to
make them speed the battle up.
So they what else goes down in this shit?
And fortunately, most of them don't pull the Dragon Ball Z thing where Frieza's about to blow up Namek, and it takes fucking 20 episodes to get the point.
So then, because the character Colonel Cruz,
that name,
the Death Force, but then Paya shows up. And it's not Vaya, it's Paya, like vampire.
Yes.
He got the name. Geist means ghost, Paya for vampire, and Cruz for cross.
I love just all these names in all these hyper violent movies.
Oh yeah, they're just.
You can tell that they just picked something and went with it.
Oh yeah, it's like not a lot of. Yeah,
like they didn't really think it all the way out, but they didn't really need to because it doesn't matter.
No.
Oh, we need names for these Cthulhu lesbian people.
Color.
You know what? My son just picked up the 256 Crayola crayon box.
Let's dig around in there.
Of those.
Purple Mountain's Majesty.
Robin's Egg Blue. The bit out the
electric laser.
Yes, laser lemon.
It's great.
But they pick. We need a name for like the big commander of the enemies. Pick out a crayon. Oh, gold. Wait a second. Big gold. Not just gold. Big gold. Because it's the commander. It's got to be big gold. It can't just be gold.
Big gold. Doesn't that almost sound like how you would call somebody Big Al?
Yeah.
or like Big Bob. Or
yeah, it's like the nickname for the fat person in your crew. Yo, big, like in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is Big Smoke. Hey, yo, Big Gold. What up?
I can't help but think of that and think of fucking Mr. T. Because of all those gold chains and shit.
Yeah, Mr. T is Big Gold.
So anyway,
I wonder if he would be offended by that.
Or a derisive name for like the gold industry. Oh, that's
no, like Fort Knox is Big Gold.
Yeah, like when you put big in front of any industry, it sounds evil.
It's
anyway,
huge.
The first one ends where, Geist. The shock ending of the original is that Geist reactivates the Death Force. And the reason he does that is because you find out in part 2, made 10 years later, the reason he did that was basically because he wanted the challenge. He wanted to fight, and because he gets stronger. The more he fights, the stronger he gets.
So like a Saiyan.
The thousands of killer robots, even though that causes shit for the entire planet.
Of course. Doesn't give a fuck.
Well, is that not like fucking Cell from Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Like, he's just kind of like, I just want to do it for the challenge. I don't give a fuck about any of you.
Well, it's like they abandoned him on a satellite for how many years? I wouldn't care about the people on planet whatever either.
And was it and by the way, some of these robots, some that look like centipede things, which Koichi Sawada said he got the idea from an unused design for like the Terminator.
For
those.
That's cool.
Because that was one of the influences also.
You can definitely tell.
That makes sense.
A lot of West.
I didn't know that, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But anyway, these centipede robots, they eat people.
because of course they do.
Which, by the way, that kind of brings up the first one. There's blood, but it's really not gory. The most you see is like an eyeball or the crushing of the head with the eyeball. That's about the most gore in the first one. The second one is definitely closer to the level of Kyoichihara that people get to know from like Genocider.
Right.
Because there's a lot of there's intestines and
it's a hyper detailed dismemberment that they obviously took a lot of pride and joy in drawing out.
Yes.
Gotta love that as a concept.
So you find out that there's this other Geist who this is kind of like shows the whole nihilism of thing, because Geist is like you choose between Geist, who's just insane, or MD Krauser, who's the other guy, who's the other MD. He kind of like wants to be like almost like a god to this group of survivors on the planet. He has like a secret underground base, and they view him as like God. So yeah, the two of them obviously. So the two MDs fight. Paya like has like amnesia, but then she sees like the dog tags and slowly like putting two to two together, where have I seen those before? Oh shit, I know who you are.
Want.
Then there's like a thing that is actually taken from like the Gunbuster OVA because it turns like black and white. And
right. Which, by the way, I've always thought that was an interesting choice that they did that.
Yeah. In this case, Koichihara said like this was for like because it was meant to be like archival. I'm stealing Daryl Surratt's bit of the aristocratic voice.
Did they do the whole final battle in stills too?
Oh no. What happens was it was supposed to be Krauser was about to impale Geist.
Gotta love that name.
Oh no, or the other way around. Geist was about to impale Krauser, but then this little kid shows up. Impales something. I'm trying to remember who. But anyway, the little kid gets impaled too, and then he's like, the guy, Krauser's like, it can't be. How can this happen? And then like Geist's like, you're not qualified to be a god, Krauser. And then he lets out this great scream.
Yeah. Again, it's been a long time since I've seen it. Well, the last time I saw it was actually when I rented it from Blockbuster, which was like when I was a teenager.
By the way, another bit of trivia. Krauser is played by the guy that did Hikaru in Macross that unfortunately killed himself.
Oh.
Can I just point out that Krauser is a great fucking name?
Yeah. I know. Geist, Krauser, a lot of German.
No, I mean, but it just works. To quote Apple.
Mm. So then there's like this big explosion, and then like you're supposed to infer that Geist died because you see like a skull with like the Geist armor helmet with it. Which, by the way, I forgot. I wanted to backtrack to the part when Geist finally puts the armor on. Is so cool. Because he's putting it like one piece at a time as they're ready to go into the brain house. And because he actually modified it from like when he originally took it off of the guy that got killed from the regular army, because he added like the thing in front that looks like a football helmets. Like
yeah, I know exactly what. Yes. So. Yeah, I mean, it's worth seeing if just from a historical standpoint to see what people were bitching about.
Yeah, even though part 2 is very different from part 1. Like,
yeah, a lot of people didn't like it as much.
I do have appreciation for it too. Like when I first saw, because I've actually rented part 2 like the year it came out, like 96, and I kind of thought it was a little different from part 1. Like, this is a little different, But I still, over the years, I appreciate it in its own way, you know.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, there's a funny part where Geist fights this like cyborg guy, who, but then like sides with Geist because he's like, you know what? I don't care about these people who treat me like crap because I'm just some cyborg. It's like, I'm with you. You can fuck up.
You gotta love that logic, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right. You got anything else you want to say other than it's cool? Go watch it.
Also great soundtrack.
That's one thing. All these things did have very cool soundtracks. They sort of have kind of an electronic, almost harsh, kind of industrial touch. But there's like this underbelly or current or whatever you want to call it of this kind of eerie, creepy element that just sort of is like under the surface, just like the show.
It is a gun error.
It could have never have been any other era for this stuff to have been the way it is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the stuff they make now, but
me too.
Time, there's a part times for this stuff.
Yeah, and occasionally they throw us a bone.
I feel like the only way this could kind of ever come back in true like a force, if done correctly, is with the Netflix model.
Believe it or not, you actually have a point, because I think either that or the GoFundMe Kickstarter is the only real way these kind of projects would get made now.
Yeah. As much as it pains me to say this, the Netflix model would work out for this, and I'm still halfway on the whole Kickstarter thing. I mean, it's been successful thus far, but it'd have to be like, and personally, I'd like to see what they could do with this paradigm of hyper-violent OVAs, but with current day aesthetics.
Yeah. We got to do this again, like not the next one, but as a future topic. We all watch more hyper-violent things.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with just watching things in general and just kind of like I really liked the Megazone 2-3 one we did.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a topic, because we could, there's like.
Oh yeah, you can. The thing is though, how much of it would be us just saying the same stuff about cool soundtrack, lots of stuff and explosions and people dying and cyborgs and.
Well, hey, listen.
We're a little bit more articulate than that.
Hopefully.
Well, in a way, you discover new stuff.
I mean, there's no shortage of things to be digging around.
I've seen most of these, so it's new. I should pick up because I hear it's pretty violent. It might fit in this Doom Megaopolis.
Oh yeah, I remember one of my friends had that one.
I wonder if another one that because you've seen this and I haven't. Would the Bastard OVAs fit?
They're pretty violent, although they're not from the 80s.
Well, like I said, 80s to 90s. It's.
They're pretty violent, but they're also got this weird offbeat humor to them too. Because the main guy is then there's another reason it's called Bastard.
That was actually another one. Right next to the Devilman OVA that I saw on the shelf. There used to be a place in New York. Weirdly enough, in my borough, that I very early on I knew about. It was called Little Nemo's, and it was a comic book store, but it had a lot of anime stuff. And like what I was saying with the Sam Goody thing, I just saw what was on the shelf behind glass of like, this is the anime that's out. And I remember seeing the giant Robo thing, Robo OVA, which I never seen, but I should check out someday. The Devilman, and next to that Bastard, which again, you're 11-ish, you're like 11 to 12, and you see something called Bastard. And you're like,
what's funny about that? What's funny about that is that wasn't far off from when I did get it. which by the way is got a lot of interesting. It's bloody for sure. The dub has pretty full of $5 curse words. And like I said, there's kind of this funny offbeat kind of humor to it. It's like, why are you doing this? Because I want to kill every monkey like you and take your women. Just shit like that, you know? I mean, it's
definitely OVAs that I could recommend to you guys, like Bow, which is very similar to the Guyver.
Yeah, okay.
Eerily similar to, which is done by the mangaka that would go on to do JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But Bow's just this one-shot, 45-minute, and it's actually pretty bonkers too. Apocalypse Zero is also like that.
Right.
Which, even though it was made in the 90s, probably also ridiculously violent. And it's violent and combines sexual imagery with the violence to make some of the strangest fucking monsters ever.
Okay, so does anybody have any other title? Because I have an idea how we can wrap it up.
I'm all set.
Yeah.
We've all seen Urotsuki Doji, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That fits right in. We can use that to wrap up. Just the first batch of OVAs.
A guy cuts off his own dick.
And that's the show. Now,
website is down.
No, but okay. The original, it was put out here in movie form originally, and it's the first 3 OVAs, basically.
With a little bit of the second
yeah, it's not perfectly diced up, but the movie version is probably the one most people have seen due to its ease of access.
That's the one most people, violent snuff.
Speaking of violent. Well, Anubis already went straight to the heart of the matter, but but there's other violence too. Like if you took out all the sex in the franchise, it would still be a good franchise.
Oh yeah,
because it has other things that are cool. Like the fights are spectacular. Like
the fights, also the design work is.
Yes, the demons and stuff look really good. Like I love the fact that like in the original OVAs, like he fights what's the guy's name? Is it Sweet Kakaju? I think it is.
Yeah, yes.
Is the guy, because he comes up there in corporeal form, for the lack of a better term, and because Amano Jaku fights him, remember, in the street, and they're throwing cars at each other and shit.
Right.
Yeah, that like because he's trying to summon like the sea demon. Like yes. I'm trying to think of what the thing's name was, but it's supposed to be able to fight the Overfiend. Again, nobody who hasn't seen this knows any idea what the fuck we're talking about, but
it's all devil cartoons from the Orient.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, another one. In this case, that's probably another true description here.
No, continue on.
But yeah, it's that's a really dark and disturbing. Even now, it's pretty fucked up. Even with all the stuff that's come out now.
All of these things are so hyper nihilist.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. Like, Nietzsche would probably be laughing, dreaming about this shit. Just like, haha, that's funny. Actually,
worst things ever.
Well, the thing is about nihilism is there's 2 ways to take that. There's the dark way, which that's what these are. And then there's more of the free, sort of the freedom way, which is like, oh, nothing matters. Skipping, playing the 50s music.
Yeah.
Which is the one I subscribe to. Not the Urotsuki Doji version. Hopefully not a whole lot of people do. But oh yeah, nihilist as fuck. I mean, like and again, there's some under the radar kind of elements of that. like, teen pregnancy and things like that. Which probably were probably legit points because I've met the guy who made this. People don't forget that. I've met Mr. Maeda before.
Yeah, that's awesome.
and he's as normal as can be too. Like he's not like, you think somebody like that made this would be fucked up and weird. Like yes. And like no, they're just like, oh, I like barbecue and I Love Lucy and it's just like baseball.
He gets all this weird shit out in
yeah, exactly. But he explained like how like when he was originally contracted to do this adult stuff, because he does children's stuff too, apparently.
Right.
Which that's interesting. He didn't want to draw typical shit.
Right.
He didn't want to draw a typical vanilla smut. He's just like, oh, and of course he ran into the censorship problem with the genitalia and all that. And that's where the whole tentacles thing comes from.
Yep.
He even explained that the fisherman's wife actually wasn't what inspired it. He said he's aware of it, but that's not really why he did it. He did it more because these things aren't technically genitals.
Yep.
And so he didn't have to censor them. It's actually pretty clever. In sort of the same way that Prince, in sort of the same way that Prince changed his name to get his music back from the record companies. and then because then he turned it back after he did.
Yep.
People I mean, and I was guilty of this too. Most people just thought it was like some really pretentious thing. But no, actually, I mean, yeah, I thought so too. But after I actually read, I think, an interview or something with him, he's like, no, you don't understand. I actually did that to basically circumvent the record company while I was getting my music back from them. And I was like, that's actually pretty ingenious. Really. Anyway. And yeah, similarly, having Cthulhu tentacle monsters using their slimy tendrils to fuck schoolgirls in their orifices is also pretty clever.
Technically not a dick.
Yeah, that's basically his mentality.
Yorisuke Doji was actually, or at least the movie version, was actually really popular in the UK.
Yeah, of course they had to cut it considerably, though.
Yeah.
And they didn't even try La Blue Girl. that one didn't even make it past the heavily edited,
I need to see La Blue Girl one day, at least the original.
Oh, speaking of things that these hyper violent OVAs all share in common, great soundtrack.
Yep.
Well, okay, except for the basketball thing. Except for the school, like at the beginning, they're playing basketball at the school or whatever. That does not hold up. I'm sorry. That sounds corny as fuck. Although there's some great lines in it though, like just some really ridiculous shit. And like I said, the demons are drawn really cool. There's an interesting kind of aesthetic to how they're doing that. And
I'm gonna say that there's also like a cast thing going on. It's CASTE thing.
Uh-huh.
Kind of going on with the school as well as like a sort of microcosm of like, because you have like, again, the main character who, even though he's like the pervert, he's like really a nice guy. You have the main girl that's like the one everyone wants. You have someone even lower than the main character who's like would just never get any,
and who also happens to have the most seriously disturbed background.
Yeah, oh yeah, that too.
He's a loser, but then you realize why he is.
Yeah.
Because his parents beat the living shit out of him, get drunk, and then clobber him.
Yep.
Well, like his dad does it while his mom cheers his dad on. It's pretty messed up. Of course, so it's not really a surprise that you find their heads in the refrigerator later. Yeah, I see why he did that.
You also have like the alpha basketball player
who's a total asshole.
Yeah, but in the end gets what's coming to him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, ouch.
I'm sure.
Although, don't you love the scene though? He's sitting there and all those girls are slobbering all over him, and then his junk starts glowing.
I'm sure all the nerds.
It starts looking like the fuel rods at fucking the nuclear power plant.
Yeah. Must have been like, yeah, he got what he deserved. Like all
but you know what I'm referring to?
Yeah.
Because like he's got like this little mini harem going on while he's sitting there, and then his junk starts going all like, you know, in The Simpsons, like in the intro sequence where he's got like the little fuel rod that's glowing that lands on him and he like it flings off. That's exactly what it reminds me of. Like you can almost hear the Danny Elfman soundtrack in the background. Do, 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 do. Please, nobody make that. That would be not good. But yeah, then, you know, which of course he morphs because he got some of the blood off of Nagumo or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, and then like transforms, and then like of course Amino thinks he's like the one he's been looking for, and he's not. Just a lot of disturbing shit in that show across the board. And it gets more and more fucked up as it goes along too. For those who've only seen that,
I need to see more of this.
Like, yeah, it like gets more depraved and messed up after that.
It shows up. Don't forget, it shows up in part 2. Kind of relevant to yesterday.
Who shows up in? Shit, I'm having a brain fart here. I should point out that Sweet Kakaju is actually voiced by Norio Wakamoto. I'm pretty sure. The main demon guy from the Makai realm. Anyhow,
the Nazis show up in the second.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah,
yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they do. Like, not only does it show like because it's like under Berlin in 1945.
How can we make this hyper violent thing
even more disturbing? Oh, let's have the Nazis involved, and they've got this. And they've got like this death rate machine thing, which is literally what it's called. Like, it's just like how can we make this thing sound crazy and messed up? Even more so than it already is.
Wasn't it like a thing to open up a portal or something?
Yes, to summon like this something. That's got a name, but it's been a long time, and I can't remember. It's got a specific name though. Yeah, it is. Because even the mad scientist down there in charge of it's just like like doing like this crypt keeper laugh and like rubbing his hands and shit. He's like, "Oh, Hitler, you fool!" You know,
did you ever? Okay, gods. Did you ever see? See, I need to know if I should watch this.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing guy did called
Demon Beast Invasion.
No, I seen Demon Beast Invasion.
Not as good.
Adventure.
I didn't care for that one.
Adventure? Oh yeah, I heard it was kind of average.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite work for me for even those kind of shows, for lack of a better.
Same thing with Demon Beast Invasion, which was, and I get it. The manga was made.
Was actually first, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it feels like a watered down Urusagi Doji.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Maybe the manga's better. I haven't read it.
Nowhere as impressive, like production value wise.
Oh no, definitely not.
Like low run of like OVA.
It's also another thing that's worth seeing, just if nothing else, because of how infamous it is.
Yeah, it's
though I will say, if you have a soft stomach, stay the fuck away from it.
Yeah,
because you will not survive unharmed. Certainly not mentally.
Yeah, one of the most shocking things then, and still kind of one of the most shocking things.
Oh yeah, like even now, after all the crazy stuff that's come out, it's still pretty disturbing. Like, there's lots of it that's just really uncomfortable.
I heard that the show. Anyone remember the show? You wouldn't know it, Anubis, but maybe you do, K-Gods. There was a show called A Current Affair.
Oh, the news show?
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that. Sort of.
They ran a thing about over Fiend, but I'm only paraphrasing from like when Anime World Order reviewed Urusagi Doji.
Okay.
So I would love to.
We should totally like dig around and see if we can find it.
Yes, I would love to. Demon rape cartoons from Japan.
The sad thing is they probably would say it that way.
Yes, shocking cartoons from Japan. Are they?
Yeah, and of course they'd get everything about it wrong, and then say that kids are watching this shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they always do that. They always assume that these things exist and therefore they're for kids. Or that they can get a hold of it and just watch it, just like they can Pokemon or something like that. and that's always been irritating. I mean, that's one of those things where due to like due to Hanna-Barbera, and yes, it largely is their fault, kids have, or cartoons and stuff are generally considered for kids. And they are most certainly part of that, because think about it. The ones that came before, like Bugs Bunny and all that stuff, were actually not technically aimed at kids. No, they were actually aimed at adults.
Even the old Disney stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Some people don't understand that, but they actually were. They used to show them for military people and stuff all the time too.
Yep.
You could go to drive-ins and watch them. They'd even have cigarette commercials. Hell, some of the characters sometimes, were offering them. Bet you won't find those anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell, the Flintstones even did at one point. Again, but yeah, I do blame that kind of, and the Saturday morning kind of thing is for why that became sort of the default, I guess, right. Maybe.
Well, but that's why these OVAs became sort of like a selling point in the 90s, was because like to push, like, look how adult these cartoons are,
Yeah, and part of that problem is the way they were presented isn't really in how reality works with those.
Yeah, like all
anime is like that. And I think I do think that's why so many people hate Moe. Or at least why a good chunk of them were, because they were marketed these, and these are a very select kind of.
All Japanese people watch,
Yeah, watch freaking Guyver or whatnot. They make it sound like it's something like, oh, I came home from work today.
Yeah, even though I was introduced to the OVAs early on, I didn't know the term OVA until much later, because I thought stuff like the Guyver, this is what Japanese people watch on TV.
I think a lot of us thought that, to be honest. Yeah.
Like back when I saw like stuff like Fooly Cooly
watching the theaters,
Yeah, exactly.
or on afternoon TV or whatever, and it's like no, it's like no. I came home from a hard day studying, and now I'm gonna watch schoolgirls take it in the butt, and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like no, that's not really. It's not really how that actually works.
In any case, let's wrap up this show.
It's a wrap. Wrap it up.
That is indeed the show. The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is ntrradio.net. Check out yashike.moe. Check out VZ stuff at vzmk2, moemekagatai.wordpress.com. Hit up shinakiba.moe for all your half-naked anime girl figures. Check out the Bakagaijin show and Otaku Midnight, because both of those are really good. That's just I don't think I'm forgetting anything. With that, I'm Tom Forcer Anubis.
You did forget to actually say our accounts.
Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter at TAnubis. Hit KGods up on Twitter at immortal_KGods. Hit VZ up on Twitter at VZMK2. Hit the show up on Twitter at NTR_radio. I'm Tom Force Anubis.
I'm KGods.
I'm VZ Mark 2.
And even though the kids get killed by the helicopter every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.